Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. It is the third Burr month. That's right, folks. Mariah Carey has awoken. She's ready to collect the checks. She's prepared the bags. It's not full of toys for the children. It's full of money for herself. Joining me today, well, before we get to these hooligans, I'm Jan and Grubb. I'm the host of the Giant Bombcast. Joining me, as always, the co-captain of the ship. He's going to check his list full of news more than twice. Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, let's go Christmas all the I'm on board, Jan. Let's do it.
Let's do it. The person who loves Christmas and the holidays the most, I can tell. He's just brimming with holiday joy all the time. Jeff Bakalar.
That's me, Mr. Holiday Season. Let's go Hanukkah. Let's go Christmas. Let's go all the other holidays that fall between now and January 1st.
The podcast oils burned for 8 times longer than expected.
Absolutely. Everyone knows it's a podcast miracle.
And today, delivering the eulogy for the Halloween and spooky season, we've brought Jessica O'Brien. Jess, the floor is yours.
Ho, ho, ho.
A forlorn ho-ho-ho for everybody.
Didn't
Satan
think
says ho, ho, ho.
Spooky style.
I didn't think we'd
As
get
I
to
mourn-
the episode title so fast.
As I mourn the loss of Halloween times.
Yeah, big rip.
Forlorn ho, ho, ho. Absolutely.
This Halloween kicked my ass, you
I'm
guys.
a forlorn ho right now. No more Halloween.
No, I mean, who isn't?
Kicked the shit out of me. I checked in with Grubb last night, too. I was like, how's your shit going, bro?
Jen
He's
liked
like,
that joke way too much.
Yeah, listen, it was very good.
What?
I'm all about jokes right now. You know, jokes are good, it turns out. Jess showed us a thing. Jess was showing us a thing, and then I was like, oh, we're all smiling. We're all having a good time, huh?
Mm-hmm. She referred to herself as a forlorn ho because she said for the ho, 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 and now, we all laughed. It was a good time back there. You should have been
Yes,
there.
we did. I
was
should have been there.
doubled over, and I was
Listen
like,
back
wasn't
to-
that funny, my dog?
Hey, it's a 3-cup coffee day, you know?
All right.
But Becca, you're recovering from trick or treating because I was out there for quite some time with that 5-year-old who did not want to quit.
I got to the point where my kid was like carrying around maybe 6-7 pounds of candy, and I'm just like, you're a little idiot. We're not gonna get home at this rate. How is this is untenable. And he's
It's
just
like Oregon Trail when you shoot too much meat and you can't carry it back to the wagon.
hold on. I'm like, you are encumbered. That is what you are. And he
You're
finally
moving
realized
at 20% your normal walk speed, my child.
he finally realized it was time to maybe go home. He ate a lot. He's disgusting with the amount of candy he ate. It was good though. We probably walked a good 4 miles.
Wow.
You know, we did a lot. You know, when it was all said and done, I was just looking at my steps and I figured out, roughly that. And then I came home and I was like exhausted and I forgot I had a hockey game. So I had to go play hockey.
Oh, really? Oh,
I
wow.
fucked up.
Yeah,
Ladies and
that's a
gentlemen, I
packed
fucked
night.
up. But if I could just parlay that into one other thing real quick.
Parlay away.
You know, I consider myself a man of my word, and I would like to imagine I share that level of integrity with my coworkers. And ladies and gentlemen, if you were listening to the Giant Bombcast last week, you probably heard about a little friendly wager, nay, a gentleman's bet regarding a hockey game between the New Jersey Devils and Detroit's Red Wings. And I believe the stipulation was that if whoever lost the bet would have to don a t-shirt or jersey of the winning franchise. And here we are in the flesh, where my New Jersey Devils really just wiped the floor with the Red Wings. 6-2 was it? Final score?
I don't know. I mean, who can remember? I don't care.
Who remembers these things? So here I am getting on the Bombcast, expecting to see some kind of New Jersey Devils merch.
You didn't send me any shit.
We agreed to a different situation there, did we not?
All right, I'm buying it now. I get to expense this. So can I have that?
Of course.
Can I get that New Jersey with the $150 one? That seems a bit excessive.
No, you may not.
All right, New Jersey. Jersey's in there twice, man. You guys, that's pretty confusing.
Your SEO is messed up. Yeah.
Everyone agrees.
Maybe this is like a Dan-ass question, but which one came first? The clothing or the country of Jersey? I presume came first. But is it named after the state New Jersey? Is it named after the country New Jersey, or is there another primor? I mean, I assume, or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
It was actually
because York was
the ugliest
New York.
one I can get.
I actually know this.
Jersey, therefore, there must be an original Jersey, right?
Yeah, it's actually named after Johann Ursberg, Jersey, and then he developed the tank top, and then he thought, you know what, I got to rep the set, and then
This logo's
as
ugly.
we're playing horseshoes.
I'm sorry.
Logo's ugly. It's ugly.
I think from a completely objective point of view, I think they have an empirically solid logo.
I mean, listen, compared to the Red Wings, the best logo in all of sports, what do you expect
people
from me?
say all the time.
Correctly. All right, I got to buy a size.
You got to buy something,
large.
and you got to fulfill your end of the bargain.
Oh, I mean, as someone who doesn't care about sports or hockey, I think the Devils logo is a little cuter than the Red Wings.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Cute? That's cool.
That is pretty
That's cool. It is cool.
It's cute in a cool way.
Yeah.
I was starting this episode, and I was about to buy a Fun Key S, which is a little keychain, little Game Boy thing. I got to cover this because it's got my code on it. I can save some money. I'm not going to do that now. Instead, I'm going to buy this, and then when I get reimbursed.
Is that company supposed to be like Funky, but Fun Key?
Yeah, Funky.
Dear.
I love it. I'm going to buy 12 now. Get me with a good pun.
Shop.
Jeez.
Yeah, I haven't got one of these yet. And all right, I'm placing my order. It might not get here in time for next week because no one carries this stuff. No one's going to overnight it to me. No one cares about New Jersey Devils. So, when I get it though, the next Bombcast after that, I will wear it. Listen, it's a long season. All right, a long
season.
Yeah,
it's a long season. Just want to make people pay up when their debt is owed. That's all.
What everyone else do for Halloween? Anyone watch some spooky movies? Besides the dads here that went trick or treating with the young ones.
Instead of trick-or-treating, because I don't have any young ones, and nobody came to my place to trick-or-treat either. Okay. We watched, I've been getting into some of the classics because, I'm just fed up of not having seen them. One of them is Nightmare on Elm Street. Never actually seen, any of them, so I've been, going through them, and we hit the fourth one last night. Hilarious.
Jess, you could have stopped at 2. You could have stopped at 2.
No, it's really, it gets funnier and funnier. I love it. The second one was hella fucking gay. The third one was just actually kind of good and I liked it. And then the fourth one kind of establishes Freddy Krueger as just Bugs Bunny but kills people. And I'm really into this angle because he shows up in drag. I'm just he's Bugs Bunny now. This is official.
You know
this
what?
rules.
Are you planning on going all the way to Freddy versus Jason?
Yes, and beyond if possible.
Oh boy!
It depends on how I can find these movies by whatever means possible. I'm also, at some point he crosses over with Jason there, and it's I gotta watch the Jason movies now. I've only seen the first Friday the 13th, so I gotta catch up.
When you get
I hear he goes to hell. I hear he goes to space.
If and when you get to, oh my god!
If you go to space, then you got to do Leprechaun in space, and then you're gonna watch all the Leprechaun movies.
I've got a whole lot on my plate right now. Halloween continues on.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
That's right. Forlorn ho no mo.
Okay, real quick pit stop, and then I'll let you move on. Ask me what I gave out for trick-or-treaters at my house, Jan.
Dictionaries.
No. Well, close. I gave out Pokemon cards.
Oh, you were
son
part
of
of
a
the
gun.
cool house. You
Yes.
got those? Okay. We all know I have a problem. All right. Several problems. We all know I have several problems, right? So well documented.
Yes.
I can't tell you the number of Targets and Walmarts I went into the Bay Area looking for these stupid things.
They're
You're
the
missing the
three-packs?
point. You're missing the point that Grubb is the coolest fucking dude on earth
We all
for doing
do that already. We all do that
and I-
already.
Shit, that is so
I had
cool.
proof too, yeah. It was okay. So first of all, you should have tried the Dollar General, which is where I stumbled upon them, just sitting there. And there was a bunch of bags. I only got one. I should have got more apparently.
My Connect got fired from the Dollar Tree near me.
Oh, okay. Listen, you got to build new relationships there. I put them out, didn't think much about it. I'm like, oh, maybe some will be left later and I'll be able to get one and I'll do an opening and make it a TikTok or something. Well, there weren't any left. And I know why, because as I was walking around the neighborhood, I heard multiple kids talking about, that's the house over there that has the Pokemon cards. Yep. And I'm like, oh, they're putting in my house. Yeah, cool. I'm like, yeah, that's neat. So I'm like, I did feel like the cool house for once.
Oh my god, that's way cooler than giving out full-size candy bars.
Yeah,
in my
I
opinion.
got a way bigger reaction than when I gave out full-size candy bars a couple of years. So I'm like, okay, that was the right choice. And there were zero left pretty quickly. I think some older kids might have come along and gone to town on it because we were out with the kids trick or treating.
You just left them out?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, dude.
Listen, what am I supposed to do? I got the kids. I'm not going to miss out on
Amateur
it.
hour here.
Yeah,
folks.
no.
You
I'm not
leave
gonna
a parent, but you leave a parent behind to
I'm not
guard
going to
the
hire
goods.
Brinks, and I'm not going to miss the kids. So, like, yeah, we're just going to do what you got to do.
Fool.
I'm with you with leaving the shit out. I leave it out. This is probably bad. I don't want to see your fucking kids, okay? I don't care. I don't want to see anybody's kids. I don't want you ringing my bell because it pisses my dog off. So what I do is I make it very clear that like somebody is watching. Right? We have cameras, and I just put out
Chris
a bowl.
Christie's watching.
And I
He'll
say
punish
like
you.
take 10 each, like something that's overly generous, so that no one's gonna be like, oh well, fuck, they're already letting me take 10.
Security theater.
wow.
Security
This is-
theater.
You know,
Just take more. What are you going to do about it?
There's
Right?
a lot of like psychology going into this.
oh,
I'm
we've thought
impressed.
about it, and
Yeah.
this is a tried and true practice. We were going on 5 years now of like success, and that's it. And I blast Halloween music out the
Sure.
window.
Yeah.
And we have like lights flashing, and like it appears like it's sort of a fun house that you're walking up to. You know, it's like a whole thing. So I think
Then
we
you tell them, get the fuck away from me. I don't want to see you. So
You kind of reverse the expectations on them.
it's saying
I love
both. It's saying come take candy, but simultaneously leave me the fuck alone.
The duality of man. I love it.
Exactly.
Michael, how
put,
do you feel
man.
about the adult trick or treat where when you were with the kids and they're handing out candies to the kids, they sneak you like a little fun-sized bottle of liquor? I got a couple of fireballs. And
That's so dope.
Not a thing where
That's so dope.
I've not
someone
seen that.
offered me a bottle of wine, and I'm like, I was like so close to saying yes, but I'm already carrying a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, what do you mean? I was like
Yeah.
about to say that. I'm like, can you explain in detail what the proposal actually is here? I said no
Elaborate
and
on
walked away. Yeah.
I stay on the sidewalk. I don't want to go up to the door. I'm like,
Yeah,
my kids are old enough. My kids are old
3
enough.
and 5, the 3-year-old
Yeah, you gotta
especially.
go
Gotta
there.
give her, gotta get 8 her, so I was up there a lot.
And I do the old like wave. Yeah,
Yes,
thank
that's,
you.
that's the
Thank you,
ideal. I can't
mister.
wait. That's, I mean, listen, sounds great.
Speaking of alternate Halloween treats and stuff like that, when I was a teen, because I was hanging on to this tradition by the skin of my there's a phrase I'm looking for, my fingernails.
Teeth?
Teeth?
Skin of the teeth? Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate, but I really didn't want to grow up. I wanted to keep trick-or-treating and getting free candy. But I was like 17 or something and still trick-or-treating. And shut up. Don't judge me.
It's late. It's late.
Don't judge me.
Jess, you're
I
a
was
tall
trick-or-treating
person,
until
too.
at least 17,
know.
Jess. I was older than you. We were
driving
such
to
shit.
each house.
Yeah, yeah, basically, yes.
I was
Right.
egging cars or egging houses then.
But I was going around the neighborhoods because there was a couple like nice suburbs nearby, and there was one place that always had like usually every year they had someone in a gorilla costume on the roof throwing York peppermint patties off the roof, which was awesome. This year
great.
they didn't have the gorilla, however, they had a big what is it called, like a smoker, like a barbecue
Sure.
giant thing,
An
and they were
egg.
just grilling like loads of meat. They had like a professional setup grilling loads of meat, and they were like
Sick.
offering meat to the trick-or-treaters and their parents. And I like called my dad and I was like, Dad, you gotta come up here, there's meat. And he was like, what? So we went trick or meeting.
Trick or meeting.
I want to be
boy.
a weird trick or treat house in the future.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna come up with some plans.
It's a good goal. I have something to share I saw yesterday, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Sharing is caring, Bakalar, by all means.
So we're making our way down the street, and we see a bunch of smoke in the distance. And I'm like, oh, maybe someone's got like a fire pit going, or like some sort of like,
Or they're burning leaves. Who does that though?
Still not a thing. Still not a thing.
Crazy.
I'm not joking. Still not a thing. They have. You know what it is? My town has a huge vacuum cleaner truck that zips up all the leaves. That's how they get rid of them. No burning.
That
just
means
put 'em in the
no
street and
one
then they're
does it
gone?
anywhere. That's why. Yeah.
You put it on the curb, and then this like big sucky machine.
Unrelated
picks 'em
to
up
the smoke
once
you
a
saw.
week. So we're getting closer, and I see like what looks like a kiln, like some sort of like ceramic oven. Like, what the fuck is going on here? A lot of smoke, and it's not like the good smoke. It's not like fireplace smoke. It's like very
Industrial
thick,
smoke.
opaque, like gray smoke. I'm like, something ain't right over here. What's going on? We make our way over to it, and these motherfuckers in the driveway, they are melting aluminum foil into a cookie cutter like mold, and they're making little like metal skull faces.
Cool.
I mean,
Dope.
you sound like some pretty cool pretty cool guys, I have to say.
Yeah.
But okay, sure, that part was cool. Metal skulls are cool.
Yes.
But okay, empirically cool.
Yes,
but like
part of my religion,
cool,
metal
skull
the
skulls cool.
smoke coming from this fucking thing. Am I inhaling aluminum foil runoff? Like what
Yeah,
the fuck?
absolutely.
So what
you
are we doing?
Oh
no,
yeah,
as,
100%.
Making cool
yes.
skulls.
as cool as a fucking aluminum metal skull is, what the opposite of that being cool is the billowing smoke coming from this, and it's just like, what are we doing?
So is that like was the kiln specifically for that, or did they use it for other purposes and they were just fucking around?
Oh,
What if it was
I
a
don't want to
pizza
know
oven or
anything else
something?
about these people.
Oh, don't-
I said,
don't ruin a
I moseyed
pizza
over
oven.
and I gave the old like, what
I'm
you
the
doing
opposite
there?
of you, man. I want to learn more.
I was like, what you doing there, friend? And he's like, he's got those like fire gloves, and he's with the tongs, and he's like pulling it out. He's like, I'm making this, and I'm just like, all right, we're skipping this house, folks. We're going to the next one.
You could have got a free, perhaps, skull out of that.
I just found it to be very weird that they were just like fucking
That's
letting
dope.
all that kids walking through that smoke. It felt weird. It was
Well,
weird.
that sounds like a fun game of figuring out what was the cause of all of that, just like fun games that we've been playing.
Woo.
Jessica, I don't know how to pronounce this. Signalis?
Signalis?
Signalis. This is the.
I was
the
pronouncing it
top-down-
Signalis for a little while, and then I was like, why am I doing that? It's probably not that.
Is it not Signalis? Signalis?
I think it's Signalis. I think.
Signalis. You've been
Signal
playing this.
is.
Yes, it rules. You should check out the quick look. I beat it soon after the quick look. It was I don't know how many hours. I should have checked that, but it was cool as hell.
What type of game is this? For folks that may not
12
know.
hours.
12 hours.
This is a really classic, like, survival horror style, but pixel art experience that kind of takes a lot of really good lessons from a lot of different survival horror franchises. Like, you'll see a lot of influence from Silent Hill. There's a lot of references and homages to Silent Hill, but it's done in a way that doesn't, tick me off and just go like, you stole this, So it's great. They got like all this Resident Evil vibes to it. They have a little bit of Dead Space in there, a little bit of Evil Within, because you burn the corpses of bad guys so they don't come back and stuff like that. And basically you are a cool robot lady who is kind of in a Silent Hill 2-ish plot where you are looking for someone and trying to reunite with somebody, and they may or may not be dead. And it's super duper intriguing. It takes place in this really incredible, like, dystopian future where there's like loads and loads and loads of robots, but also a bunch of humans who are not much better off than this like slave class of robots. And it's really, really, really neat. It looks great. The sound design's incredible. The music is super like Akira Yamaoka inspired,
Ooh.
who's the Silent Hill guy. And it's just like I was grinning ear to ear watching what they were doing and all this stuff. They have so many good puzzles in this, and they're so like inspired from these other great classic puzzles from like the survival horror franchises of yore, but it sometimes like it tweaks and improves a lot of them. Like some of those puzzles from the old days were just like, what is this? I don't understand this. Or some of the boss fights were like, this is not a good boss fight. You call this a final boss fight? And they took those lessons and like improved upon them in ways I did not expect. And it's like, this is how you homage stuff. Like you take it and you run with it and you make it your own. And it services the story and the narrative, and it's still their own thing. And it's just very, very brilliant.
Would you be up for, because I remember really digging the quick look, and it's also available on Game Pass, y'all. So if you got that, another no-brainer. Would you be into a Silent Hill style game like this, Jess, like done this way, like isometric kind of way versus like third person?
Sure, why not? I mean, I already got it with Signalis though, so I'm happy as a clam. But yeah, I think that one of the things that really interests me about like horror games in general is that like it is so broad and diverse, and you can do so much with the horror genre that it kind of doesn't matter what style it's in. It can still be effective in some way. Either it can be genuinely scary, or it can be kind of hokey and campy, but still horror. Like there's such a wide berth. There's a gradient of horror that you can play around with so much. And like that's another reason why I really like indie horror stuff, because there is a lot of that experimentation going on. So I don't know. They really like, I don't know. They used this kind of indie horror format. So it's kind of a mix of 3D, kind of painted to look like pixel art. So the cutscenes look amazing in this, by the way. Holy crap. And it's just like such a good confluence of like just every little thing going on. Like they had such a good taste for what to take and what not to take from stuff. And damn if it isn't extremely mysterious. Like if I didn't have a job and had tons and tons of free time, I would have replayed it immediately to see if anything changed, to see like what I could do, because there's like 4 different endings you can get, and people are like trying to figure out like how do you get these endings and stuff. So like I could have like, you know, gotten obsessed with this if I had the free time to do so.
I don't think you're not alone. The reaction to this game has been really, really just striking in terms of how many people are falling in love with it. So I'm glad I sat in with that quick look with you, because I'm like, I get what this is, and it looks very interesting. And then to immediately have that back to back with, and everyone in the world who's playing this game is loving it. I'm like, well, I have it already. It's on Game Pass. I'll probably get it on Steam. I'll put it on my Steam Deck, and I'm going to play it and cozy it up under a blanket or something. That sounds like a good way to experience it to me.
Sorry if anyone heard that.
I am going to be checking this out. I'm very excited. It looks so cool. And like, it has so much style.
If you're not sure if you'll like this kind of game, it has a really good demo, like where you do just a little bit of everything. And the demo is not the same as the first chunk of the game. Like they change it. It's different. So it's a separate thing from just the first 20 minutes of the game or something like that. So you can check it out, see if you vibe with it. There is a limited inventory, which some people do not vibe with. And I understand it makes things a little frustrating or backtracky a lot of the times. The dev is trying to figure out, like, you know, because they did get a lot of feedback on that, and they were trying to figure out, like, what's a good solution for people that don't want to deal with this limited inventory aspect of the game, which is really like, you know, that is something that does show up in a lot of survival horror stuff, but a lot of people don't find that to be something they want to see in modern games. So figuring it out, maybe there might be some tweaks along the line, but it is still a really, really successful story and vibe and game.
It's so interesting seeing one of these, because I feel like the indie horror genre is like a very populated and flooded market. It's so dope to see, like, Grubb, what you said, this kind of take over the zeitgeist currently. My last question, Jess, how scary is this game? Because your boy's a little scaredy cat, as you know.
It is, you know, because it is like, for me at least, because it's pixely and it's kind of like top down, almost isometric. Not exactly. Yeah. I don't know exactly what that viewpoint is called, because it's not 3/4 isometric. Because of that, there is like a bit of like a distance where I'm not scared because of that.
Okay.
Your mileage may vary. There was a couple of things that gave me a little jump, but it was because like I was rushing headfirst into a bad guy I didn't know was there, and I was just like, geez, okay. Like they scream at you when they notice you.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely more abstract. You're right. It's like
far more vibe based.
You are disconnected from the direct action, so you might be able to handle a little bit better. I think the camera angle is Metal Gear Solid 1. It is super Metal Gear Solid 1.
That is definitely a good way to describe that. But yeah, I feel like it's not trying to jump scare you. Like it doesn't have any like jerk bag moves like that. Like it's very respectful of you and not startling you like a small child or something. It wants you to be unsettled and a little uncomfortable and a little spooked out, a little grossed out occasionally, but it doesn't want to like give you a heart attack at any point in time. So if you're anti-jump scare, this is a really good game to try out.
Sick. I'm actively downloading it now, and then I'm probably going to buy it on Steam because I want to play it on a Steam Deck. Speaking about jerk bags, Jeff Grubb, you've been playing the ultimate jerk bag game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yes, I spent a little bit of time with the multiplayer, just a little bit, because I got distracted by another video game called Marvel Snap. But I think it's fine. It's good. It's on the multiplayer side of things, they really kind of delivered what they needed to. And then kind of playing the campaign, I've been pretty into it. Like I would give the campaign on our scale a 3 out of 5. I like it. It's kind of how I'm doing it. 3/4 out of 5, yeah.
Got it.
And the big thing for the campaign is that it's just doing a lot of the hits. I can't remember if we talked about this on Bombcast last week. I think we did the quick look since then. So, but it was like, it's a lot of greatest hit stuff. It's not going to be too it's not going to blow you away with new ideas. And when you're in there, it looks really good. Then you go to the multiplayer, and again, it's pretty similar in that it is doing Call of Duty things. I think that the upgrading the weapons and adding attachments is really, at least at first, in depth and a little bit overwhelming for me. But I'm kind of getting my mind around that a little bit. I'm like, okay, I kind of get, they're almost doing like a pick 10 system, but just with each gun. And I'm like, okay, I can vibe with that a little bit. But what do you think, Bakalar?
No, I played a good amount of it in the last few days, and we got the guys back together. And
the boys are back in town.
The boys are there. We're doing it. The crew's back. We had 8 people one night. That's a big deal. First time in 2 years we hit the 8 number mark.
Oh,
I think we're back. I think we're back in it. I think this game is scratching the itch in a way that Vanguard obviously really brought nothing to the table in regards of like scratching the itch specifically. And I think there's something about, a lot of really, really compelling maps. I think that I'm already running into a bit of like a camping issue. It's always an issue, but like some maps lend themselves a lot more to that sort of cheap bullshit. That out of the way, you're always going to have those problems with Call of Duty multiplayer. Speaking to the weapon upgrading, like they sort of like do it in a weird way that I still haven't totally wrapped my head around, where they kind of give you access to a lot of attachments to each gun right away, but then once you hit a certain level, like the next branch of stuff pops open. Yeah. Whereas like they would sort of gate it just by weapon rank for a while. They approach it in a bit of a different way, which I'm finding to be kind of interesting. But they brought back headquarters. That's back. That's such a big deal. That mode for us is like our absolute favorite, most hilarious mode. I think this is going to be a winner on the multiplayer.
That's what I was actually waiting to hear.
Yeah,
like if the boys like it, then that's something.
The boys like it, so I think it's at least going to take us through the new year, and I think we're going to be well served. It's and I think the first impression, just in terms of like server load and that stuff, where Vanguard was shit in the bed on delivery, and then the game before that, I forget which one that was now, because who can remember anything?
Black Ops Cold War.
Sure, yeah. I remember problems. Modern Warfare 2 so far is pretty damn good. Just like all these other games, you pop into this user interface and you're just like, what does any of this do? You like partying up is weird. Now there's a part, now they've like, so they layer a new party feature inside the game. So like you join into the Modern Warfare party, which exists outside of a PS5 party or whatever platform you're playing on. And I think that kind of makes sense. There's just a lot to still unpack, and we're still finding like the path of least resistance for like preference and whatnot. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
people are saying that the menu system, the user interface reminds them a lot of Hulu, and I'm like, why? It's such a specific criticism, but like I started going around. I'm like, yeah, this does feel like Hulu.
like
What the
Hulu.
hell? Yeah, how did you end up doing
Where
this?
can I watch Lego Masters here?
Yeah, I ran into
it's
Handmaid's
weird.
Tale. Have I gone too far? But it's good. You know, once you wrap your head around that, I'm starting to, you know, I think playing the beta as much as we did really prepared us to kind of hit the ground running.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm feeling it. I think they got a winner on their hands this time as far as multiplayer is concerned. And I'll report back in a couple weeks and see how it's going. But so far, so good. I am feeling it. Feels good. The game feels good. It looks real good.
Yeah.
Great.
The guns were feeling very good, which is kind of the first step in getting me back into a Call of Duty. And then it's just a matter of, all right, am I feeling the progression? And so far, I am, just not as much as some other games I'm playing.
Okay. Another game that feels real good, Jessica, you've circled back to this, and I'm assuming this is for Game of the Year preparations.
Yes,
Rogue
it is.
Legacy 2.
Oh my god, I love it. What the hell? I didn't know.
I didn't think this was normally a Jess, your prototypical Jess game.
Yeah, you know, I do like rogue lights. I always mess them up. I mentioned this on some other Bombcast. I messed up roguelike and roguelite.
You got it. Roguelite.
No
yes.
one actually
Light.
knows. Everyone is wrong. Everyone is right.
Roguelite
I think they
weird
should
definition.
have more differenter names, in my opinion.
Yes, roguelike means you're just actually like Rogue, which means it's can use ASCII art and plays just like Rogue and is but it's like, so most things are roguelites.
I thought you were going to say a rogue like is when you start calling everyone sugar.
Yeah, sure. Well, of course that's what I mean. Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't know it by looking at me, but I was way into Binding of Isaac. I was way into Hades, and you know, it's been a bit of a dabble here and there with roguelites. And I saw Rory actually tweeting about how he was going back into it. And I was like, oh right, I should. This came out this year. I should check it out. What is this? So yeah, I went into it, and oh my god, this game's good.
It's very pretty. It's also very pretty.
You know, it's kind of gorgeous. And it's pretty funny too. I didn't expect it to be pretty charming, like humorous and cute and goofy, and I like that vibe of it. But man, am I not very good at it yet.
Don't worry. I think I have like 7-8 hours into the game, and I don't think I'm good at it either.
I've been trying to beat that first boss. I got him down to like half health.
Yeah, but like your stuff carries over, or some of the stuff carries over. So like every time that you're playing, you're not good at it. Eventually, things might just build up to the
Exactly.
point where you're better, and also you got a bunch of better stuff. So
Yeah, you're getting gold like crazy. You're buying stuff. You're leveling up. You're unlocking new classes. I got more classes than I know what to do with. Very interested in all of them, but scared to try.
Is there a
things.
certain class that you've gravitated towards? Because I remember really liking the chef class.
I haven't tried the chef class I changed class to that once, so I didn't get a good like feel for it. But I'm kind of liking the Valkyrie class because you can kind of just like
Get verticality
aim in
and
any
stuff.
direction. Yeah, the verticality is nice. I was surprised that I was doing very poorly at first with the magic stuff, and I thought like being because I didn't like the distance. Because you can't do any close-up melee stuff, you kind of get screwed because you cast far away to something. And I thought I would have a similarly hard time with the archer, but actually I really like the archer. So Valkyrie and archer are kind of like my most liked ones right now.
Okay.
And I don't mind the soldier; he's well-rounded. But yeah, you gotta check out Rogue Legacy 2. It's really fun, and it's just you go through all these dungeons, you're fighting cute little guys. It's also the Halloween event was going on, so there's pumpkins everywhere. A lot of the enemies are like Halloweened up a little bit. I think I don't know what they normally look like because I got in during Halloween, so I don't know what the default is. But heck, it's cute. it feels good to play, and I'm not very good at it yet. But I only have 6 hours in it, so I'll get there.
Yeah, it took me a while to get that first boss down. And I do remember Rogue Legacy 2 having a lot of different accessibility options. So, folks, if you're also getting stuck, you can flip and dip as much as you want.
That's right.
Oh yeah, there's like they call them house rules, and
Yeah.
you can change so much stuff whenever. It's amazing. But I want to try to be tough and do it default style and see how good
It's cool
I
to have
can
the
be.
option though, and it's like I'm the same way where it's like I like having the options, and then I try to be tough too.
I do like that one of the options is to turn off the perks that change how the screen looks. 'Cause
Yeah.
some of them are just like
A little
don't wanna
too
look at
much.
Yeah, there's I got a nostalgia mode
So it's
that
all
was attached
sepia?
to a character. It
Sepia,
was
baby.
super sepia, but also the edges were really vignetted, like dark, and it was kind of like.
Oh,
It
that
kind of
would
looked
give me-
like an old film where it was kind of like flickering a little bit, and I was like, I can't. This is so ugly.
That's just how I see on a day-to-day basis.
Oh man, I'm sorry. See a doctor.
Rogue Legacy 2 is one where I played it for a few hours, didn't super click, but I think I'm going to go back and give it another chance. I've been playing Shovel Knight Dig, and that is, I think I was into that a little bit more. It's another roguelite, and but even that one, I was really expecting it to click with me, and then I didn't stick with it. So I'm like,
Another one I have to reapproach. I haven't tried that one yet. Next out this year too. So
yes, the one that of these that really worked for me the most was Steam World Dig. Actually, Steam
Ooh,
World Dig 2.
yeah,
That's
Steam
one of my favorites
World.
of all time, and I'm looking for the next one of those, and I think I'm gonna give each of those games another shot. 'Cause I bet I will get into them if I just stick with them for a little bit longer than I did originally.
All right. Speaking about sticking to things, Jesus Christ, if I didn't already have a game to occupy majority of my time, it would be Vampire Survivors taking up a good chunk of it. Jess, you've also been playing this.
I've been busy.
I forget. Have you tried Vampire Survivors yet, or this is your first time with it?
This is my first time with it.
Oh,
and
no.
let me see how many hours in I got on this thing.
Oh, no.
15 and a half.
Ooh, yeah!
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Yeah!
Yeah. So
This is
I got
because
into
it's a
that
game you can just let it ride, baby.
I couldn't believe it's like I blinked and I time traveled.
Right.
I can't believe how good of a time travel game this is.
The sessions are still just max 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's max 30 minutes, but it's always like you want more because it feels so good to be a bullet hell device.
Yeah.
Just mowing down these guys, and you're mowing them down so fast, it sounds like you're popping popcorn. Pop, pop, pop.
Yep.
It's so all the good chemicals are getting squeezed out of my
Yes.
brain for this particular thing, and it feels so good.
You feel like you play as a slot machine with machine guns. That's what it feels like you are. Like you're just all kinds of fun noises are popping off and stuff.
These are the bad keywords to activate me, man. You
Yeah.
can't say slot machine and machine
It
gun.
feels so. It feels if Las Vegas turned into a weapons manufacturing plant or something like that. That's what it feels
Nuts.
like, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, so sometimes if I want to kind of time travel, just skip a bunch of time in my life, like Adam Sandler and Click, I go to TikTok.
Oh
usually.
no.
I go to TikTok
It was
usually. and I just-
bad. It was the opposite. You don't do that. That was the moral of the
You
story.
don't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the movie, but sometimes I'm just waiting for food to get delivered. I'm just I'm so hungry. I'll go on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
And
Good idea.
Kind of delete the time because it's just all of a sudden it's boom, the freaking 40 minutes pass and you didn't even notice because of all these bite-sized things happening. Now that's Vampire Survivors. If I want time to pass quicker, that's what I do. And I got my partner into it
love
too.
that.
I got my partner into it too, and he was like, "I'm gonna bike." He's trying to get more healthy. I'm gonna bike while playing this, and he accidentally biked for 30 minutes because he was having a good run, and he was like, "Honey, I fucked up. My legs hurt so bad because I didn't realize I was biking for 30 minutes straight with no breaks."
I accidentally worked out.
Yeah, so
I did that with another game on the list this week, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I'm on the treadmill and
Oh,
stuff.
I wonder what that is.
May I suggest to pass the time to just do push-ups while you're playing Vampire Survivors. Oh, but Jess, you don't have a Steam Deck, so it might be
No, I
harder to do
don't.
that.
Also,
It's
someone in
good
the
on
chat
Steam
says,
Deck.
Someone in chat was like, 30 minutes makes his legs hurt. It's like, yes, he's a little gamer man. He does not do this.
He works
very
at home.
often.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let him. You got to start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere.
Soon it'll
Yeah.
be 31, and it's going to be a big step.
Yeah,
for
That's
sure.
right.
Don't judge.
Jess's semi-husband's
Takes time.
legs,
Takes time.
they're going to be so yoked next time you see him in a
Yes.
travelogue.
Right? Yeah.
You're going to see his calves and be like, damn, Jess, you lucked out here.
Got me a good one. Little swole gamer king.
Those legs.
I'm still on the fence about trying to acquire like a walking treadmill underneath my desk. My desk doesn't go up at all, but then I might I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you can get a bike, one of those the pedal things, a bike thing on your desk instead. Then
I got a Peloton. I should just use that then.
yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive.
I fucking hate Peloton, man.
Why? What's the dealio?
Kill your family? What?
Yeah, Peloton stole my identity. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. It does not, that kind of workout does not gel with me. Like, I don't know what it is. I think the whole like technology is good. Stacy uses it a bunch. It's her toy, not mine. But when hockey got canceled at the start of the pandemic, that was like the only thing I could really do for exercise, and I despised it. I hated it so much. I don't know
what
what it
about
is.
it?
Like maybe it's just my hips are not gelling with it.
Yeah.
Did you
I don't know,
adjust
maybe it's all on the hip?
yourself to the proper like height and everything? Because I know
I
that's an
did
issue.
all the
Yeah.
measurements. I did all the things. I knew what letter I am. I got
I
the right
thought-
shoes.
I thought you were gonna complain about the hosts.
No.
the trainers.
They
because
seem
I find,
cool.
I find some of them a little like too.
Yeah, you can
intense
find
and
like
annoying.
your people for sure, but I think for the most part they're
tribe.
generally nice people. Huh?
What a cult.
Yo, I was hardcore in the cult, and to be fair, whenever I see a specific instructor, and as I'm scrolling through my feed, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to 5 minutes of what you have to say, dog. I resonate with all of this, and then I feel like a better human being. So maybe it's I don't know.
I think they should acquire like Will Smith's technology that he used for not the actor formerly tested as Will Smith.
Yeah, no one's ever talking about him anymore.
Yeah. What's this VR company called where they could track your stuff in
Schmoop?
VR?
Not
Something like that. And they should take that and make the instructors cartoon
Foo.
characters. Foo VR. Because I would do that with like Carl from Aqua Teen if he was my instructor. That would be very
Come
good
on,
for
pedal.
me. Yeah.
Come on, you freaking useless freak.
Or just
So sick.
even Meatwad. Any of the characters from Aqua Teen basically is what I need to exercise.
Yeah,
would
that's
be so
actually
awesome.
perfect motivation.
I want Frylock's soothing voice of encouragement. I think I need
Yes.
that in my
You
life.
are fat. Keep cycling.
Motor Nights coming. Yeah.
Anyone?
I just think, yeah, go ahead, Jen.
No, Bakalar, please.
I feel like there's people who they just exude a level of positivity that I'm just like, my like, knee-jerk reaction is like, this person's full of shit.
Yeah, me
Sets
too.
off alarm
You know?
bells.
And they're just like but at the end of the day, like, it turns out when you work out a lot, you feel good. And that's the thing. Like, as much as I hated doing Peloton when I used to do it, because now that hockey's back, it's like, fuck it. I felt good. I felt good that whole day. So, there's something there for sure.
Disgusting. Yeah.
I know, it's gross.
I'm in favor of instituting a rule of every time before we record or do a podcast or whatever, we all have to do 10 push-ups.
Oh, let's
like it.
go.
Yeah,
Damn.
Jess, you were gonna get so yoked.
I can't do one.
You can
Can't do one?
You'll do
Do knee
do the
push-ups.
knee
push-ups
one.
count.
knee
Yeah, knee ones
push-ups,
I
and then
can't, like,
you could
see
like do
this?
like
Not an excuse.
I do this and it makes a U shape. Like
get
in
like a
cartoons.
go to your kitchen
Try to
counter
flex.
and just like lean over, still standing, and just do a
Yes.
push-up from there.
Seems like a lot of work.
It is.
It's for your health. It's for your health.
As Dr. Steve Brule once said, it's for your health.
For real.
Eh.
My
Do I
wife
need to
married
live to
Steve Brule. I
100?
should tell
I
you guys
don't
that
know.
story someday.
It's not living to 100. It's living to 60.
It's
Let's
also
go.
living, Jess.
Livin.
Grubb, you said
I
something
agree.
underneath your breath. You got stepped on.
My wife married Steve Brule once. She went to, well, I was at some work thing. I was traveling and we had tickets for Tim and Eric. and I couldn't go, so she went by herself, and they needed audience participation. So they brought her up on stage, and along with a bunch of others, to like basically do stuff with Steve Brule on stage. And they went through basically a marriage or like a bachelorette sort of thing or a bachelor sort of thing. And she ended up being the last one. And then Steve Brule married her and all this stuff and on stage. And then,
amazing.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could have seen that.
Was
that
he
was
like
pretty cool
Cupid's
stuff.
heart is my arrow? Yeah.
Is that
Steve
legally
Brule.
binding?
I mean, listen, if it's Steve Brule,
royalties?
I'll accept it. I'll let it slide.
Grubb's marriage is a sham.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's stronger because of Steve. Is how I view it.
Yeah, hell yeah. I will marry John C. Reilly. Someone in chat said that I forget what he said. Oh, that working out is also mentally beneficial. I agree. For breathing. Like I said, it's as much as I don't like doing it, it helps me.
I did wake up and get on the treadmill first thing this morning, and then I was very productive afterward in a way that was unusual. So
that's like when I feel anxiety, I exercise and it goes away. That's just anecdotal
Seems
for
fake.
sure. You know?
yeah, so that seems that's big exercise.
Fake.
I don't know, man. When I was seriously boxing for a bit, I feel on top of the world, but I was also peak scumbag Jan.
But then you don't feel bad like eating like shit too.
That's also true.
Which is a huge win.
Yes.
Huge dub. Yeah.
Yo. Oh my god. Let's start a fight club, but like not fighting each other, just like fighting ourselves with fitness.
I do
Yeah.
that every day.
Mm-hmm.
And
But with fitness,
does
Jess,
not win. Fitness does not win the fight.
Jess, I'm going to revoke all of your
Laziness
I'm going to
does.
revoke all of your CMS access, your YouTube access, everything in the back end. I'm going to revoke all of it until you tell me 10 push-ups. You've done 10 push-ups.
A biometrically unlocked CMS that only allows you to do 10 push-ups. Okay.
Okay, I'll lie.
This
There were days where
requires
if it
one
happened to me, I'd
drop
be
of
just like,
sweat.
all right, well, I'm not
Open.
And then it's just not even all at once. It's throughout the course of a day.
Okay.
All right. Fantastic. Fantastic.
When I took this job, I didn't know this would be part of the thing, but
That's how they get you.
sometimes roles change. I understand.
Roles change. We all got to wear different hats. Has anyone else been playing anything else before we get to the game of the week?
Not really.
No, sir.
No?
Probably, but I'm forgetting.
Yeah,
All right.
things I can't talk about right away. I'm excited to talk about them though. We'll
That
get to
too.
those next week.
Lots of secrets.
Look forward to a quick look.
It's actually-
quick look of Entropy Center
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
tomorrow or day after.
And the game I'm talking about, is not the one you're expecting. It's so come back next week. Yep.
Based off my reaction, you might be able to tell. I don't know. But anyway, the game of the week is Marvel Snap.
Marvel Snap.
Frame break.
Frame break. That was real good, Jan.
Yeah.
Oh man. I felt like I was-
Oh, you've been playing Bakalar.
Yeah, I've been playing it.
He knows what the dealio is.
It's cool. I think I need to. I'm getting a little impatient with it. I realize it's a very fast game and it's like takes 10 seconds to play around, but I just don't know if I'm like doing it right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I realize each round the power requirement goes up one and you can spend that power between the cards you have. But I also feel, and I've yet to lose a match, but I also feel like I'm playing it wrong. And there's something about, and then the progression summary at the end is like overwhelming in a way that I'm frustrated with. But I do really think it's designed beautifully, and it's a very, very fantastic experience.
Yeah, you're still in the tutorial phase, and it's probably okay that you don't fully understand it yet. I would, because if you haven't lost yet, then that means you haven't gotten to one of the key sort of lessons that they teach you about retreating and things like that. If you still don't understand at that point, then
Something wrong with
well, yes, there's something wrong with you, exactly. Because baby, I've been playing this game nonstop. I think I played every minute I could over the weekend. It's a problem. It's a real problem now, actually, for me. Wow, that was too much of that video game. I went from like deck level, which is that they have a level number for how many cards you've unlocked, and it goes up as you unlock more stuff or you improve your other cards visually. And I was at level 40 maybe, and now I'm a level like 160 over one weekend. It was too much Marvel Snap. I am so into it, though. It is, it's just really struck a chord with me. A lot of it comes down to coming up with ideas for new strategies and being able to implement them really quickly, and then deciding, okay, that's fun, but I want to blow this whole idea up, and I want to play a deck that's kind of random to see if I can come up with new strategies. And it's all pretty good. And then you start getting on the ladder climb where I was winning a lot. So I'm like, let's see how high I can get. And I got into the gold level finally. So I'm low 40s right now. And that feels really good. I'm like, well, now I'm hitting a wall. What can I do to push through there? Can I come up with a deck that really can just keep winning? And because the rounds are so fast paced, it doesn't feel like a big commitment. It doesn't feel bad. Like, oh, okay, I am spending all my time doing this, even though I totally am. But like that mental barrier of thinking, well, yeah, I got to sit down and come up like, oh, I got to think about all these cards, and I have this big deck that can have 32 cards. No, you can only have 12 cards in there.
Yeah,
just really give yourself permission to just kind of try ideas, see what's going to work. And that's been fantastic so far. I don't know, Jan, where are you on the arc of this game? Because I know you got into it really quickly. Are you still on a high?
Of course, I still am on a high. If you didn't stream like 2 hours of it yesterday, I was thinking of like, maybe I'll just pick up the old Twitch handles and just start that thing up. But then thankfully you did it. But I just think it's, I don't know. I've played a lot of TCG games, or I guess TCGs in the past. Like, got really big into Pokemon. On top of collecting it, I really like the physical game of Pokemon cards, and I really also got into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know that there was a mobile app for Yu-Gi-Oh! That was free, and they condensed the game because it's 5 like monster lanes, 5 spell and trap card lanes, and then they condensed it down to 3, so the games would just be sped up. But it still didn't click with me. Here, though, Marvel Snap, because of the smaller deck size, because the objectives are different, it just sings. It absolutely sings. And I think it's so funny that, taking a bird's eye view at the staff's feelings on the games of this year, it looks like 2 games near the top might be just pure systems heavy, with something like Vampire Survivors, where that is another thing where just like you go into autopilot, and just like Jess said, you kind of time travel. I do the same thing with Marvel Snap. I time travel too much. When you get to the climax in the moral of the story and click, when you figure out, oh no, Adam Sandler, you shouldn't have been doing all this time traveling. You're missing out on key moments in your life. That's just me now. I'm missing out on key moments.
What are we running from, Jan?
You know what? I'm running from myself. I know this.
Damn.
But the neat thing is, like, most of the cards except Cyclops have fun effects to them, and they synergize really well with each other. And you'll have your archetypes for decks. So you'll have like a zoo deck, which is filled with lower cost cards that you can flood at the end. Or Grubb, I saw you were getting into these 2 decks where it's like destruction decks, where you're purposely destroying your own cards to buff the rest of your deck, and additionally move decks. And then you would think, like, normally if you open up Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh!, I can't speak to Magic, but you can only kind of really create that one strategy with your deck. Like you create that specialty with Pokemon where it's like, all right, I'm going to put all of my eggs in this basket. Pikachu Zekrom, that's the only way I can win. I have to build to this end game. But even with a reduced deck size of just 12, I feel like you can not only have that main archetype for a deck where that is your main win condition, but you can also create like a side avenue for you to pull out a win, which is really fucking dope. And it's just really good. And like, I understand Marvel does not click with everyone. But it's good here, though. It's really good here, and I also like that they're doing a very good job at showcasing a bunch of random ass characters that folks would otherwise not know. Because I could tell you, like, I didn't know who Blue Marvel was, and I consider myself like an avid comic book reader.
I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think they are capturing the magic of cards in a way that I've never seen in a game before, and that's the thing that keeps me going back, even though I don't. I'm just a little I'm just a little baby gamer with this game, like, and just not knowing my way around. What has me going back is like appreciating all the design and the art of these cards, and just even the titling. Like it's just so expertly done. It is a clinic in design, this game. It is so beautiful, and that's what has me going back. I just wanted to touch on the card aspect, because I know how much you were like, Bakalar, if you don't like this game, you're a fake, you're a fraud, you don't really like Marvel cards.
I said all of that.
You're a loser and I hate you. And after I cried for a minute, I was like, oh, you're right. The card aspect of this thing is special for sure. They are capturing it in a really satisfying way.
I think also the one of the things that might be a hurdle for you, Bakalar, is the 3 locations changing each match and having hotspots. So right now, if I do have a certain deck that plays in a certain way, because this thing's always going to give +5 power, so I'm going to have at least one round, maybe early on, usually, where I can play a higher powered card and get away with it, so I can justify not running a zoo deck or whatever. And that's cool, but for one reason, it's like, okay, for now we can play one strategy, but soon that hotspot card is going to change, and then you're not going to know what to expect from those 3 spots in terms of what meta they're going to, like the micro meta they're going to create in that one round. So it's like I'm not seeing just one type of deck over and over being like, and that's what's always demolishing me. I got to go play the meta. The meta is being like shaped very quickly and changing all the time.
100%.
And that keeps things fresh. They've really, Bakalar, you talk about the card collecting aspect. That same level of care has gone into the design of this game to its fundamental core, where what are the problems these games always encounter, and that's one of them, and they've thought about it, and it keeps it feeling fresh. And if that's, I think even if that's not what you come to these games for, you need that in other players, so you have a variety of people playing instead of just everyone trying to min-max everything. And that has been so key so far. Who knows if they'll be able to maintain that, but
yeah.
So far, it feels like they've got a lot of safeguards, like these railings that are going to keep the game in check and making sure that it feels fun no matter kind of what deck you're playing. I mean, a lot of times when I lose right now, I am losing to people who are playing decks that are very similar to the starting cards you get. And it's like, oh man, that deck is still very good out of the gate. They're running Quicksilver and they got Hulk, and they're not trying to do all kinds of fancy stuff. And it's like, okay, that's I think to me that's a good sign. And then on top of that, it's still really fun to experiment. And I'm super into it. And it's a game that's fitting my brain right now. I've been scatterbrained and I'm struggling to start long-term games. I've been wanting to play Mario plus Rabbids, the second one here for a couple of weeks now. I have it. I want to sit down. I want to start playing it, and I keep putting it off for whatever reason. And now Marvel Snap is here, and it's like, oh well, I want to play a game. I'm in the mood to play video games, but it's just not something's causing problems where I actually get over the hump of starting it up. Marvel Snap has basically comes to me. It's right there on my phone. It's lightweight. It's not destroying my battery. The games are over quick. And it's like meeting me where I'm at in terms of gaming right now. And that has been so helpful and so nice. And it's like, eventually maybe I will get sick of Snap, but then I can go back to these other games that I keep putting off, and I'll be ready for them, I think, at that point.
Last thing I want to talk about with Marvel Snap specifically is I've been going on really big losing streaks. Right? Like I'll just completely get decimated by my opponent. And like, I think I climbed up to 45 and then I dipped all the way down to 39. And that's without me aggressively snapping all the time. Except most of the time I will aggressively snap. So that's why
I was going to say, you're basically just saying everything you just said was me, except I aggressively snap. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad you corrected it. Cause I did the same thing, 44 to 39.
Yes, Jess.
What question? What's Snap? What are you snapping
I'm afraid
for?
to do it again because I caused an earthquake last time.
Yeah.
So snapping is the bluffing mechanic here. It's not exactly what it is, but it essentially is the bluffing mechanic. In that you are risking 1 cube every time you play a match. And a cube is how you get rank in this game. So you're going to climb the rank ladder. Like he was saying, level 45 is what he got up to. Well, he got there by winning these cubes from the opponents he's playing. It is an ante from each player. I put up a cube, you put up a cube.
Oh, it's doubling down.
Yes,
Ante up, doubling down.
Mechanic.
Exactly.
Snapping is doubling down, and that's what you say. Okay, I'm going to put 2 cubes up, and if you stick around, you also have to put 2 cubes up. But at that point, The other player can choose, like, okay, never mind. You think you're going to win because you're snapping. I'm going to retreat instead, and I'll only lose 1 cube. Now, but if the player continues to play, well, now they've got 2 cubes on the line, so now there's a total of 4. Now, if they snap back at you, well, then they're going to double it up again. So now each player's putting up 4. At this point, you also have the opportunity to be like, oh, I was just bluffing. I really am not confident, so I'm going to retreat now and just lose 4 instead of 8. Now, people aren't playing the bluffing mechanic too hard right now. They're not. It's usually just what me and Jan are doing is like, oh, you snapped at me, I'm going to snap at you. How dare you? How dare you snap at me? I think once you get higher on the ladder, that'll be more likely that the bluffing will come into play.
I thought it would have something to do with killing cards because it's like Marvel and he does the snap and half the people turn into little bits and bobs and go, I don't feel good. Ugh. I thought it would have something to do with that.
It's funny you mentioned that because there's actually, other than destroying your own cards, aren't a lot of ways to actively tear apart your opponent's field. Like you're not
attacking cards
at all.
Okay.
But I bring up the whole snapping stuff and then losing streaks because in most other games lately, where there's a competitive aspect, when I go on a losing streak, I'll get a little bit burnt out and then I'll stop playing it. Sometimes it just gets me out of it completely. Like that happens with Pokemon. Most recently, it happened with me and a lot of Splatoon 3. Like I started doing the rank games, started losing dramatically. Maybe not due to my own abilities or whatever. But here, I'll go on a losing streak and snap, but I won't get discouraged. And I think I don't know what brain chemicals they're tapping into, but it is a similar feeling. Well, it's a similar feeling to like when I'm playing Fortnite, where I feel like I'm not losing a lot when I do lose in Fortnite.
Yeah, you're still making a lot of progress and a lot of other stuff in this game, and that helps.
Yeah, and I honestly think that's what it is. It's because if you lose a game in Marvel Snap, you are still upgrading or working towards your boosters, and your boosters are what you use to upgrade your existing cards. And then I don't know, it's just such a good time. Such a good time. I can't wait to see how they roll out new cards. I'm still in Pool 2. Like, I'm on the verge of...
I actually don't even know what the pools are. What does that mean?
So the pools are based off of your collection level, and your collection level is tied to how high you've upgraded your cards. Yeah. Pool 1 is just the cards that are available to you.
And these are the ones that would pop off as I'm increasing my collector's rank. The mystery cards.
Yes.
That's okay. So Pool 1, it's pulling from Pool 1 for these mystery cards. As I get a higher rank, those mystery cards will begin pulling from Pool 2 as well.
Yes. And then the people you'll be playing against will have cards also from Pool 1 and Pool 2.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
And then apparently the game completely opens up once you enter Pool 3 because a lot of the meta that works well in Pools 1 and 2 are thrown out the window because the new cards that they introduce or synergize with each other radically different than how they do in the lower stages of the game. Okay. Pool 2 collection level is from 222 to 474.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm a ways off. All right, cool.
We're all a ways off. But God knows I'm going to keep playing this stupid game.
I'm going to get there, I think. Yeah.
And the best part is, folks, you do not have to spend any money on this game.
Yeah.
You do not. Like the times where I've been compelled to spend money outside of buying the battle pass and like the little Captain America stuff, is just to not even upgrade my own cards, but because I'll see in the shop that there's a variant of a card that has no other value other than looking sick. And I'm just like, I want to rock that one though. I want the I want that one.
I saw someone tweet that like there's a certain like wall that you hit at a certain level where it's kind of like better buy something, wink, because this part's like a sudden bullshit difficulty spike that's really hard. Like you have to have been really lucky beforehand to pass through it without paying something. I don't know if I'm making this up. I saw someone like tweet about this. Was it you?
No, I'm sorry. I'm waving to the Easy Ally Raiders. Hello, Easy Ally Raiders.
Thought you were waving like it's me.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. I think that I'm like I'm having trouble seeing how that would work because what would you even buy? Like you can't go buy specific cards.
I don't know.
Because yeah. Like
I'm not playing the game, but that's what I saw on Twitter, and I was like, oh. Well,
Yeah, I think I bet there are parts of if you're trying to climb the ladder, eventually you're going to get to a point where it's like, I guess I'm going to have to go grind and unlock as many cards on this collector's rank ladder, the separate one, the progression ladder over there. And for that, I will need extra currency. I could see you talking yourself into that, but the way it's set up, it sort of discourages that too.
Yeah.
So
if you're playing dumb now, dropping $100 on this game is not going to stop you from playing dumb. You're still going to be making the same mistakes of like, oh no, I put Carnage and Squirrel Girl and Mr. Sinister out of order, like stuff like that. Like I've spent a lot of time with this game, and a lot of it was without spending money at first. I didn't encounter a difficulty spike. Maybe there were instances where like I'd be playing against an opponent and they'd have like a bunch of cards I've never seen before, but could be because I made the switch from the pool 1 availability of cards to pool 2.
Well, I don't know if you're at the level that this happens.
Yeah, this is so Propaganda Panda in chat says the word is around level 2000. If you don't get the right cards in the right order, it sounds like you get crushed by a high level deck. That sounds plausible, but also like, man, they're still unlocking cards at level 2000. How many cards are in this game? Holy crap!
Level 2000. That's a long time.
There are people who've been playing through beta this entire time who are at level 2000.
Have some cost fallacy attached to it. You're like, I'm level 2000. I can't stop now.
Yeah, maybe at that point you should stop playing.
You've reached the end.
The only people who are there have got to be the people who are have been playing throughout beta for months and months. I would imagine. I guess maybe not months and months, but I mean, because I guess some people are probably getting to level 300, 400 since the game just came out. But still, it's weeks away for a lot of people. So we'll see. We'll see what the long term actual reality of that is.
All right, that was the game of the week, and that was the first segment of the Giant Bomb cast. I think we got to go take a nice brickety breakity real quick. Jess,
and I'll be leaving you because I have TikToks to make. You should follow us on TikTok at The Real Giant Bomb.
Yes. Don't follow the one that Ben and I made X amount of years ago. I mean, you could, but don't.
What's that about?
It was like Giant Bomb free V-Bucks or something like that.
Got it.
Before we got into Fortnite, but Jess has been putting in work.
Hell yeah.
On the TikTok, so make sure to go follow. Just scroll through them like everything. Yep. Save everything. Share them.
Share.
However it works, do it.
Yes.
Love them.
Yes. All the oh god, I can't stop thinking about the dumb TikTok song I made Jess listen to, even though she already knew it.
Yeah. I knew
at the beginning. Oh my god! All right, I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go play a couple games of Marvel Snap while we take a quick break. We'll see you on the other side. Bye. When you're hiring, you're supposed to leave no stone unturned. But how do you actually do that? Easy. Partner with one powerful stone turner. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match assessments and virtual interviews. Hate waiting? Indeed's U.S. data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because of tools like virtual interviews. It saves you time. You can message, schedule, and interview all of the top talent all in one place. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why when you sponsor a job, you only pay for quality applications from resumes in our database matching your job description. Visit Indeed.com/bomb to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/bomb. Indeed.com/bomb. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Halloween is over, so it means that the end of the year and the holidays are fast approaching, and your boy needs to look fresh and clean in between popping through the upcoming season. I'm cutting it real close, y'all. With their incredibly sharp razors and refills, though, Harry's is the official sponsor of Cutting It Close and the show. You're getting a high quality shave, y'all, with Harry's for a much lower price than you'd expect. I can't tell y'all enough about this weighted handle because it provides a good heft so you feel in control when you're shaving. And this shave gel, y'all, I'm not normally one for scents, but your boy is smelling mighty fine after using it. And it's also super convenient to get refills with Harry's because I can get them delivered when I want. Right now, you can get Harry's starter set for just $3. Plus, you'll get a free travel size body wash. The set includes a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover. A $16 value for just $3. Just visit harrys.com/bomb. Yo, this starter set from Harry's starts at just $3, and the refill blades for as low as $2 each. These refills are also delivered straight to your door, so you can save time. Skip the store. Harry's has the highest customer satisfaction in the shaving industry as well. And you know what? They're still offering a no-risk trial. If you don't like your shave, it's on them. No matter how busy things get, stay fresh with Harry's. Get your Harry's starter set today and you'll get a free travel size body wash. Just go to harrys.com/bomb. That's harrys.com/bomb. Welcome back, everybody, to the Giant Bomb cast. During the break, lots and lots of developments. I lost the game of Marvel Snap I played panically while trying to pee.
You rushed yourself.
I rushed myself. I pulled a grub and I snapped. First thing I did, I didn't even look at my cards. I just snapped.
Hell yeah.
And then I started aggressively emoting. And then I realized that maybe I am the problem. So I'm going to hand stuff off to the coolest dad in video game news, Jeff Grubb.
I am also the problem. Yeah, I think it's true. I think I'll take that. Absolutely. Let's do this. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. First, though, I want to say goodbye to Nibel. Nibel on Twitter. He is leaving Twitter, left Twitter. Pour one out for our boy. I like Nibel a lot. One reason, always nice to me. Always nice to me on Twitter. It's kind of like, they had a big account, could easily just be aloof or distant. No, had good humor and was kind whenever I would interact with them. So I always appreciated that. And I guess if you don't follow gaming news on Twitter, you might be like, oh, who the hell's Nibel? Nibel was just a good account to follow if you wanted to be up to date on everything, because they would update you on everything that happened in gaming. They would watch every event and give you the Cliffs Notes versions. And it was a service. They did a service, service journalism. And then it's a bummer that they felt they had to go. But I mean, I kind of I understand if you do this for years and then you look to monetize, which is what they were trying to do. They started a Patreon and they got, I'm not sure, I actually didn't keep track of the numbers, but it wasn't enough to make it to justify the work that they were putting in. So like, okay, well, I'm going to probably stop doing that. And therefore this doesn't make sense anymore. So I'm going to be done. And that's a choice. You're allowed to make that choice. And I totally respect it. So, but Twitter's going to be a little bit less useful to anyone who is trying to keep up with game news now, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Tim, I saw last night he put up something that I thought really did a good job of like encapsulating. Nibel's just one of those people where you're just like, oh, this person just seems real like down to earth and just I know for a fact in real life would be a person that could easily fall into our group of friends and just sort of be another, colleague and whatnot, and just real like funny replies every now and then, just being a part of the scene and just such a positive member of that. And it's always real weird. You never meet someone in real life, but you're like, I wonder who that person is. I wonder what that's about. Think very fondly on Nibel for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Nibel also mentioned that, hey, the leadership on Twitter was never good, but I definitely don't think it's going to get better now. So
most definitely not.
Yeah, so it's definitely not going to get better. So, yeah, if you were looking to make an exit to Twitter anytime, now is as good a time as any. Although I'll go down with the ship, I think.
I do want to. I think at this point, this is the only way people can find all my dumb bullshit. Otherwise, I'm just yelling into a void. I do want to shout out Nibel because of Nibel's user or profile picture. I Googled, what is this? And then I found out about the anime Mob Psycho. And that's a really good anime. You should check it out. It's fun.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying, it's the mob guy. The guy that has the mob as his profile picture. I'm like, well, I don't know what that is. I'm sure it's anime, though.
Just doing services left and right. That's it.
Yep. So thanks to Nibel and happy trails. I hope you find whatever you need. All right, let's move on to this next story, which broke while we were doing the show a little bit earlier, over from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. Embracer Group shuts down Montreal video game studio. You might remember a few months back, everybody, when Embracer somehow bought Square Enix Montreal and Eidos Montreal and the other Crystal Dynamics from Square Enix, because Square Enix wanted to get out of the Western games business. That deal closed just a couple of months ago, and now already, after just renaming Square Enix Montreal to Onoma, Embracer has decided to shut it down. It seems like the reasoning is that Onoma is best known for doing mobile games like Hitman Go and Lara Croft Go, things like that. And Embracer wants to focus on PC and console pretty much exclusively. So Onoma didn't fit into the overall strategy going forward. And this was an opportunity to cut costs, which, a year ago, cutting costs was not something Embracer was worried about. They weren't thinking about that. They were like, grow, no matter what, grow. Now it's like, well, we can grow, but save money where you can. Things have changed a little bit. So the first sort of victim to that is going to be Onoma. We'll see what happens to the people that were working there. Montreal, a hotbed of development, though. I would imagine they're going to be scooped up quickly. At least I hope so. I bet that's going to be the case. If you're trying to place, okay, what does this mean for other games that these studios were working on? Jeff, didn't you say someone was making like a kids on bike sort of ET style game, maybe like Stranger Things, and didn't you say something about a Deus Ex? Well, that was all happening over at Eidos Montreal, which is still ongoing. Jason Schreier actually updated about both those things. He said that the Stranger Things inspired Kids on Bikes game has now been canceled, which is always the vibe I was getting, because they want to work on Deus Ex instead. I think a Kids on Bikes game is always a good idea. I like that setting, that vibe. But they're not going to go ahead with that. Instead, a new Deus Ex, as well as a new IP, which was recently rescoped, and then co-development partnerships with Xbox, including Fable. So Crystal Dynamics helping out with Perfect Dark, and now Eidos Montreal is helping out with Fable. So we'll see what happens with all these. That Deus Ex game apparently is still very, very early, which is what I heard a few months ago. But yes, still very, very early. Where are you guys sitting at with Embracer Group right now? This move, I think, is a little strange just because they were trying to grow so fast, but also not too surprising at the same time. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I feel like it's weird to shut down like a studio that did a lot of mobile work, because it seems very short-sighted, especially with, we were just talking about Marvel Snap. And Marvel Snap is a mobile game. Yeah, it's available on PC, but primarily it's being played on mobile. And then part of Xbox acquiring Activision is to get that sweet, sweet King money. And that's a mobile market. It just feels like an odd decision to do. And also, those were good mobile games. I really liked
Hitman
They were
Go. Good.
Yeah. It was... It reminds me of that weird, I don't want to say golden age, but that specific era of time where people were taking mobile games or phone games much more seriously and actually putting stuff on there that wasn't just something like, I don't mean to besmirch the name of Angry Birds, but stuff that wasn't an Angry Birds clone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you could see the world where they could take those concepts of Lara Croft Go and Hitman Go and make those into something more modern and better suited for the modern mobile gaming market and how people spend money on games. But also, Embracer has their vision. They want to make stuff for consoles. So again, like I said, I'm not too surprised. But Bakalar, what do you think the next thing we hear from Embracer is? Do you think this is going to be a company that's like, oh, they made another big acquisition? Or is it going to be like, okay, well, we've grown as much as we can grow. Now it's time to start making profits. You think that's kind of where they're headed?
I mean, I still think now is probably the time to buy up stuff.
Yeah.
Just if you are trying to get the biggest bang out of your buck, right? I mean, like from like just what things are being sort of undersold for. I feel like, I can't believe this was 3 weeks ago that they just announced the name though. Like what?
Yeah.
To me, like everything else makes sort of sense, right? Where you're acquiring, and you're sort of figuring it all out. But to have almost like a launch of like, hey, this is what this new group is called, and then just less than a month later be like, no, we're shutting. I don't understand that.
Weird.
I just don't understand that.
I mean, it must have just been one hand not knowing what the other one's doing, right? Someone was in charge of rebranding, and then someone was in charge of making financial decisions, and those two people weren't talking because you
We're
wouldn't.
never in the same meeting.
Yes, exactly. Never in the same meeting ever. Because if they were, you'd think he would have mentioned this and be like, actually, let's not publicize that we're changing the name. Let's just keep on. No one talks about Square Enix Montreal. People only talk about Crystal Dynamics and Eidos. So let's just don't worry about that. Well, now it's like, this is very strange. Why are you behaving this way? And there's no good explanation other than they weren't talking to one another, which isn't a very good one either.
Yeah, I do think companies in the sort of market for acquisitions are not done doing that. So
I mean, things are only going to get more expensive. I mean, especially as competition increases for acquiring these studios, it's only going to get more expensive. So you act now or you pay more later, and all these companies still fully understand that. All right, let's move ahead to Xbox has failed to reach its Game Pass subscriber target for the second year running. Axios reported earlier this week that CEO Satya Nadella, who ties his pay to how many subscribers they get, will not be getting the bonus because they only grew Game Pass by 28.07% instead of the 72.88% that they needed to hit in order for Satya Nadella to get that bonus. Now, that is like a bonus rate, so it's not exactly like we were expecting to do 72.88, but it was in the realm of possibility for them. They're pretty far off from that at 28.07%. That's still a pretty big number overall to grow, right? If you are a game subscription service that hit 25 million within that fiscal year, growing 28% is pretty good, right?
Yeah, any type of growth, especially how things are now, I feel like is incredibly substantial. I hope this is an instance of them aiming astronomically super high, so any type of growth or whatever could look good for them internally. I hope it's more so that case because, man, I can't lose Game Pass now. I can't.
Well, Game Pass isn't going away, but why do I feel like there's this sort of looming cloud over the affordability of it, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, they spoke to that this past week as well. Phil Spencer was on a panel at Wall Street Journal Tech Conference, whatever they call it, and he explained, or he was asked, what about raising prices? Other people raising prices. Facebook's raising the price of the Oculus Quest 2. PlayStation raised the price of the price of the PlayStation 5. What are you guys going to do? Will you ever raise prices? And he basically said, well, listen, we're not doing that this holiday. But yeah, I mean, games, the price of games, the price of subscriptions, the price of the console, I'm not going to say they're never going to go up. Of those, like, I think games going from 60 to 70 is maybe the most immediate one that could happen, although I think that's a bit tricky while they continue to support Xbox One, because they're not going to sell those games for $70 on Xbox One, but whatever. Subscription price is, of course, going to go up. Do you think they do it by like $5 at a time? I don't think so. I don't think they need to do it that much.
I feel like Netflix is the biggest offender of like surprise hikes.
Yeah.
Where
they've been around the longest, so it's like you can remember a bunch of times where that price went up, right?
I mean, I think I could be. Is it like $100? I feel like it goes up so often that I don't know how much it costs anymore.
The highest tier is like in the 20s.
Yeah, I don't know how much it costs. And you could find a situation where this starts to happen. I had a conversation over the weekend with a friend who was just like, wow, Xbox must just make so much money. And I kind of didn't know how to break it to them where it's like, well, it's complicated. Not so much. It doesn't always translate into like net profit, right?
Well, when it comes back to Game Pass, Phil Spencer on that same panel explicitly said Game Pass is profitable. But he spoke to how it was 15% of the overall revenue for the service, and they don't expect that number to grow in terms of like what size of the overall pie will Game Pass represent. He thinks it's going to be between 10 and 15% going forward. So that means don't expect exponential growth from this point forward, at least for now. But in terms
lower
of
than I would think.
Yeah, me too. But you got to keep in mind, like they still sell a lot of games, and the games is where most of their money's still going to come from. So,
And the licensing and that.
Yeah, but like, they put out Forza Horizon 5, I remember, is one that sticks out because that's one where we were getting a lot of data because we could see how many people were playing the game before it hit Game Pass because you could buy the game early or you could play the game early if you bought a more expensive version and it already had like 1 million people playing. That's 1 million people buying the more expensive version instead of just waiting a week to play it on Game Pass. It's like, oh, they are still selling a ton of these games. And even when Game Pass might seem to hurt some smaller games here and there that are coming to it, it's like, oh, other games still sell. And some games that are on Game Pass are still selling 1 million plus copies. That's okay. Clearly, most of their audience is still stuck in that way of doing things. Stuck is maybe a pejorative. They're just used to doing it one way and they want to keep doing it that way. And I think Microsoft's like, hey, we're not going to be able to change their mind until they want to change their mind. So let's just keep offering it as an option. And then one day, maybe they'll just click into place, or they'll be like, oh, I was going to get out of gaming. Instead, I'll just go with Game Pass instead of trying to continue to build my collection. It'll be waiting for them when they're ready. But in the meantime, it says it's making a profit. Obviously, if you count the cost of acquiring Activision against just Game Pass, that's not true. But that's not how it works. That's just not how it works.
That's what I always say. Game Pass, the retirement plan for gamers.
Honestly, 100%, dude. When do you think they would try and announce like a price hike? Do you think they'd save that for like next holiday season, maybe the summer? Or are they like timing it out like, hey, now Game Pass is available on your Nintendo Switch or mobile? Mobile's probably the easier thing. And then
it's got to be a momentous moment where they're able to like justify it, right?
Yeah. I think it's by next holiday. I think they probably do it not right at E3, but in the doldrums between E3 and before the end of summer. So like August, you raise it by $1 and you just see what happens. And now instead of $15.99, it's $16.99, which honestly looks pretty much the same when you're like thinking about it in your brain and you're trying to make a quick decision. $15 to $16.
You think they'll just do $1?
I think they just do it a little bit each time because they could just do what Netflix did and raise it. It's just like, turn up the heat on the lobster, right? It's just you slowly do it because they're going to be here. They're going to be doing this for a very long time. That's what he said. We're not going to be getting out of this business anytime soon. So they can have a 10-year plan for raising that price and do it every year.
Low and slow like a brisket.
Yep. Yeah. And there's also and we'll get to the story in a little bit. We got some other ones in between there and now, but there's evidence that you can raise the price if you restructure what it looks like, because that's what PlayStation did with PlayStation Plus. And they were actually, we'll talk about this, losing subscribers, still making more money because those people that are sticking around are paying more. So they know it's possible to pull that off, but will Microsoft be able to do that? We'll see. And
they still have gold, right? Isn't like gold like floating
it's still around?
In a weird way?
Yes, it is. You see the games with gold. I didn't put the story in any of the even on for Game Mess mornings because it's just like but it's like now it's just like 2 games that no one knows about, no one's ever heard of or talked about, and it used to be like 4 games a month. It's like, okay, guys, what are you going to do? Why are you still doing this?
Pull the plug. I mean,
but it's like that. The problem with that is that a big reason people subscribe to Gold is to play games multiplayer. Yeah. And if you get rid of Gold, well, it's like, the people who just get Gold to play Call of Duty won't subscribe anymore. And then, but then you're right. Okay, we'll make it up in other ways. It's like, well, I don't know if they care about those other ways. They might just be in it for Call of Duty multiplayer. But then if you have Gold there as like, you could just get Gold if you're playing Call of Duty. But, if you just pay a little bit more per month, you get Call of Duty in Game Pass and you get the multiplayer and you get all this other stuff. It's like you could see the argument there. Although, for years I've been saying it, on their docket to do at some point is to get rid of Gold. But when they'll do it, I still have no idea.
I feel like there were... haven't we talked about them making like a third device that is just streaming?
Yeah, so they have one of those that was in testing. Phil Spencer literally had it on his shelf in a picture.
Right. Yeah.
And they still haven't announced it, and I think they've acknowledged it, when they say, hey, we're still working on it and we're trying to like rework what it's going to actually end up being. So who knows if that thing ever even comes out. But yeah, they need to be on TVs. And then they need to be boxing Xbox controllers with those TVs. Like they should be putting Xbox controllers in Samsung TVs, and they should pay for that. And that's actually maybe how you reach the next little bit audience.
That'd be pretty
Propaganda
cool.
Panda says it just straight up got canceled, which sounds right.
Oh.
So, I mean, but that doesn't mean the concept has been canceled. Sure. That specific the puck, the like top quarter of the Xbox Series X, but turned white, which is what it actually looked like. That got canceled. They could still come out with a stick or something. Who knows? All right, let's move on to a new team is working with Naughty Dog on a beloved franchise. So what's happening here is feels like it's a continuation of an ongoing story that actually got us The Last of Us Part 1 remake. Naughty Dog is busy doing whatever Naughty Dog's doing, but there was always this swelling of a concept at something called Visual Arts Group, which is PS Vag, is what I call it, the PS Vag. They were like, hey, let us work on Uncharted. That'd be cool. And Sony was like, maybe. And they kind of kept them in that sort of gray area for a very long time. And then eventually was like, okay, clearly it's not going to happen. So some people that were working at PS Vag decided to move on and started PSVAG decided to move on and start a new studio, and they left. And then they were like, okay, who was left? The people that were left there were like, hey, well, maybe we could do The Last of Us Part 1 instead. And that actually got off the ground. But then Naughty Dog was like, actually, we want to do this. So it's like, okay, with all that history behind them, now there's this new team growing again at PlayStation Visual Arts Group. That was that seems to be having the blessing of Sony to work on a new game in partnership with Naughty Dog, and it's a beloved franchise. This is Uncharted, right?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
I think so.
You don't think it's Jack? You don't think it's Jack and Daxter?
I don't think it's Jack and Daxter. I would think I think that'd be really cool.
I feel like Jack and
beloved to
Daxter.
us.
Sure. Okay.
It's not. It's got to be Uncharted. Come on, right?
I think it's going to be Uncharted.
It's probably Uncharted, but in my heart, I'm hoping for Jack because, you say beloved, you think like, oh, those characters or whatever. And I know Nathan Drake is a character, but I just think of like
He's a murderer.
he's a murderer. Yeah, that's also what he's a thief.
He's a beloved murderer.
A beloved scamp. But I don't know, Jack and Daxter. I feel like that's something that Sony or PlayStation is
That
definitely
would
missing.
be really cool. Yeah,
be
they are
cool.
missing it. I just don't know if they have the appetite for it anymore. I know that they would want Uncharted to come back, or at least I think they would want it to come back, and they would want it to come back more than Jack and Daxter. But maybe you're right. Maybe like, hey, we have a gap here when it comes to family games. Maybe we could, and it doesn't have to be a kid's game, but it could be like more appealing to a wider audience, and that's Jack and Daxter. I wonder if they're just like, well, no, we have that in Ratchet and Clank, we're good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I think. I feel like they've settled, they've planted their flag in Ratchet, and like, all right, this is the fuzzy one that does well, other than that one.
Yes, I think so a little bit, but either way, it's something like that, and we'll see how this turns out. And what do you guys think is do you think Naughty Dog has sort of just loosened the grip on this stuff? It's like, okay, we can let off a little bit. Obviously, we don't want it to be 10 years before we get the next thing from one of these classic Naughty Dog franchises, but we also want to go work on new stuff. So you can work with us and do most of the work, but we'll just, we'll be involved on the side there. You think that's what's happening here?
Yeah. I feel like Naughty Dog's realizing like, all right, we can't have our hands in all these pots. We'll get you most of the way there, and then we'll just make sure that you didn't make any typos.
Hyam likes PS Vag, by the way.
Of course he does. Of course he likes PS Vag.
Yeah, he feels real good.
Shout out, boy.
Yeah, they'll just put that like little spice on at the end, a little finishing touch. Give it the old seal of approval, a little kiss. And that'll be that.
A little smooch on the cheek.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving here. EA has confirmed that its Marvel deal covers at least 3 adventure games. That means 3 Marvel games. They did this. They said this in a press release. So they've confirmed this is really happening. Those 3 games, well, one of them we know, they also confirmed previously, is Iron Man coming from EA Motive, the company or the studio that is now working on the Dead Space remake. When they get done with Dead Space, they will fully go into development on Iron Man. It's still going to be years off. Years after that, likely, we will get the other game, which is still, and this is not confirmed, but what I've heard and others have corroborated at this point, Black Panther from the new studio in Washington State that was founded by the former team from some of the former members who worked on the Shadow of Mordor games.
Oh,
so it's like, okay, that sounds promising, right? Yeah, I think that's very cool, but that's not coming anytime before like 2025. Then there will be a third game, which no one knows what it's going to be because EA doesn't actually know what it's going to do yet. There are apparently there's a lot of names being thrown around of other superheroes that could be the star of this game. One of the real possibilities, though, someone brought this up to me on Twitter, and it's something like, you're right, because I heard this as well. They might just as well wait to see how Iron Man does and see how Black Panther does, and then if Iron Man does really well, they'll immediately go into work on a sequel, and that will be the third game. And then if Black Panther does well, then they can renegotiate the deal and do the sequel to that separately. But if Iron Man flops and Black Panther does well, then it can just be a Black Panther game instead. And it's like, okay, that makes some sense, but that's also not for sure the plan. It's just one of the options on the table at the moment.
That's too smart of a plan to do. Why would they do that? Why would they just sit and wait?
It's almost as if they've learned lessons or something.
It feels like. Does it feel that way? Because it feels like EA's learned some stuff about making games over the past 5 years or something.
Did we get the name right in the story? EA? No, it says EA.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Apparently,
I think it's happened in a lot of mediums where lessons learned, right?
Yeah,
and that's been a thing. Maybe this is probably more of my personal bias coming out. I don't find Iron Man to be an overly compelling character. He's just a robot.
Dude, it's the movies that made that character. It's the movies and RDJ that made that character popular.
Exactly. So
I like the movie character a lot because it's a what if daddy issues were a superhero? Like what if you felt you needed to protect everyone all the time and that was your fatal flaw? And it's like they do a really good job with that stuff. How do you translate that into a game? Well, I mean, you said he's just a robot. That's pretty good for a video game, right?
Yes, it lends itself. I'm just saying, how much personality can it really have? I don't know. Again, it's probably my personal sort of bias. The similar thing with Superman, where I'm just not compelled by them at all.
Superman's trash. I'll say it.
Yeah, he sucks. But I don't know. I think I'd like to see different characters get time.
I mean, this one's a little bit weird too, because as someone points out, who's making that Captain America / Black Panther game, and that was Amy Hennig's team over where's she at? I can't remember anymore. But that's so something's already happened with Black Panther. So now we're going to get 2 Black Panther games. I think they're going to be vastly different in terms of a timeline, and things like that. But it's like, okay, we had an opportunity to pick from this whole pantheon, and we're kind of going the same well twice. I get why, because Black Panther seems like a very safe bet for us, to have a Spider-Man level success. I get that much, but still, from a selfish point of view, I would have liked to see more variety in these options being selected.
Who's doing the Wolverine?
That is Insomniac, who made Spider-Man.
I can't wait.
Spider-Man. I cannot
wait for that.
No, I am not worried about that.
I'm not really worried, but I'm like, okay, well, Spider-Man's great because of the mobility in the game and had the locomotion. All that stuff is very, very cool. Wolverine doesn't exactly have that same stuff. And then when it came to the combat, Spider-Man's good. It's not bad, but it's just not. It doesn't stand out necessarily.
They're gonna nail his grumpiness in a way that you are
Wolverine's
really
so cool.
just taken away. That Logan grumpiness.
God,
yeah, that's
Love
a
that
good character,
movie.
so I'm excited for it.
Love that last film. Oh my God.
I like the Wolverine and Logan a ton.
Yeah.
Wolverine's very good.
Not that this guy needs another game or anything. And again, I hate to even bring it up. I feel like we will feel the rolling of many, many millions of eyes here. But Deadpool never got a good game. He doesn't really have a good game.
I never
was
played
thinking
that Deadpool game.
I was in that camp too. Thank you for being brave, Jeff, and then saying my thoughts.
You know what it is? I play Deadpool pinball in my house a lot, and I think Brian Posehn wrote it. It's Nolan North does the voice.
Yeah,
in the pinball game, it's funny. It's really good. I just think that guy. Yeah, the movies are good. They're fun. They've been able to do whatever they want with those. to me, there's a bit of a void with that guy getting an actual good video game. I mean, the ones that came out were fine. They were okay. They were.
I never played it. Mike Minotti said he liked it in chat, so I don't know. I'd have to see for myself.
It's I don't know. You can't really take that too close to heart, right?
That's how I feel. Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's get now. So
last thing I want to ask Jeff is it at all possible to scrounge together the team that made Guardians of the Galaxy and put them on a project that'll actually be supported?
Right. So that's
because that was
that Eidos or Crystal Dynamics. Was it Crystal Dynamics? I can't remember which one's which. One of them's Avengers, one of them's Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can never keep them straight. But they're over at Embracer, and you would hope that Embracer would be like, listen, we could do a Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It was really well received, even if it wasn't a huge sales success. What if we didn't pay you as much as Square Enix was paying, but we promised to make the game just as good with the same team? Can we make this deal happen? I would want Disney to be like, yes. I would want Disney to be the kind of company right now that would say, we are willing to kind of just make whatever deals we need to get a lot of these games out there, because they're taking a scattershot approach to all these things. And I think that could mostly work. But I don't know. In terms of getting those people to come work on any of these other games, they could always leave. They could always leave that studio. Who knows if they want to keep working for Embracer.
What a great game that was, man.
It's good. I think about it all the time. It's just
I feel like you liked it, Jan, right?
Maybe.
Ring some bells.
All right, let's keep going. Activision claims Modern Warfare 2 generated $800 million in sales in just 3 days. In doing so, it surpassed the previous 5-day franchise sales record set in 2011 by Modern Warfare 3, which is not confusing at all. Modern Warfare 2 beat Modern Warfare 3's sales record. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's pretty good. $800 million is a lot of money in making 3 days. Obviously, the games cost a little bit more, about $10 more than they did back in 2011. But either way, this game is selling very well. It also, Sony was like, it's the fastest selling game on PlayStation Store ever. And Activision pointed out, it sold much faster. It did much better than Vanguard, much better than Black Ops Cold War. So, yes, it's doing very well. Obviously, Modern Warfare is like their top priority in terms of making sure they put out a good Call of Duty when it's a Modern Warfare year. So as long as they keep doing that, they're probably going to keep making a lot of money, right?
Yeah. Is this at all tied to them not doing another one next year?
I mean, I don't think people that are showing up for this game are thinking about that. Or is it weird, like thinking that people are coming in and thinking, there's not going to be one next year, so I got to get in on the ship right now. Yeah. I don't know. I think the kinds of people that are thinking that way we're going to wait no matter what to see if the game's good and if they could save money by getting it used or whatever. So no, I don't think so, but I think that this one will have longer legs when it comes time next year, and there is no new Call of Duty game, and this game gets a huge content drop at that time, which I'm sure it will. That will really keep this game going. This will probably be the best-selling Call of Duty ever when it's all said and done because of that reason. So. Yeah. Not like these other Call of Duties don't sell well even after the last one comes out. I think we did the MPD. You might have been on there. I can't remember. Maybe it was TAM. We talked about how it's like, there are like 3 Call of Duties on this chart all at once. I'm like, that's pretty normal for that was
me acting flummoxed over that entire thing and not being able to wrap my brain around it. What's the cadence, the release cadence again? What are we doing here?
So there will not be a new Call of Duty release next year. They've confirmed that. So they have committed to doing a lot of content for this game. And to me, that says when November comes around next year, expect a giant drop for this game. Is probably for Warzone 2 as well. I mean, almost certainly that game's going to get giant content drops all the time. Okay. But it's like they'll probably do what is equivalent in terms of the amount of content it gets to an expansion pack for this game, I bet. So going to be a lot of support for it. PlayStation 5 hits 25 million units sold, but Sony gaming profits fall 49% due to rising cost. The electronics giant shipped 3.3 million PlayStation 5 units during the 3 months ended September 30th. That is the same exact figure it did last year. So it sold 3.3 million last year as well as this year. This is just before they really started figuring out their the supply chain and getting that new system into the supply chain, things like that. So it's like I would expect that number to jump quickly. They still expect it to jump quickly too, because this brings the total for PS5 consoles sold this year to 5.7 million. They set a goal of 18 million systems shipped by the end of the fiscal year. So they have 2 more quarters to do that. That means they're basically, what is that math there? But like a little bit over 12 million. So 6 million for each upcoming quarter. They're probably going to do maybe 6, 7 alone, maybe even 8 million in this next holiday quarter. If they can get enough into the supply chain, they can easily do that. And then that'll leave them a lot of room to beat that 18 million number, which I think they still actually internally expect to do to beat that. So PlayStation 5 still selling fast, still not selling as fast as they want, but they're going to get there. In the meantime, though, the company's making less money because actually producing these things still cost a lot,
right?
And that's hurting them. That's one of the reasons they raised the price of the PlayStation 5. As part of this, PlayStation Plus has lost nearly 2 million subscribers since its revamp.
Damn.
This is maybe a little bit more worrisome to them. So that's according to Sony's latest subscriber estimates, which were published on Tuesday as part of its fiscal year 2022 quarter 2 financial results. The first full quarter since it launched the revamped PS Plus. So this is not like, oh, we changed things in the middle, so things are weird. No, this is the first full quarter with all of those changes from going PS Plus to PS Plus Basic or Essential, Extra, and Premium, or whatever it is. PlayStation Network monthly active users were down almost during the 3-month period from the previous quarter. And then the total number of subscribers stood at 45.4 million. That's down from 47.3 million in the previous quarter. Now, there is some timing stuff with this. So that's the summer months. Comparing it to the previous quarter is not always super helpful. There are definitely high tide and low tide for subscribers to these things, but losing 2 million in a quarter is definitely something they don't want to see. They want to be doing things to offset that. And you would expect putting out a big new version of PlayStation Plus with all of these new tiers and all these new offerings would be enough to be like, oh, well, at least for this one quarter from comparison to the next, we're not going to lose that many because people are still so into this new thing. I don't think that's actually happening. Do you guys? I don't think people are too happy with PlayStation Plus Premium and whatever.
It's not the shot in the arm that it needed, or the revamp, as you put it. I think it's tough to discern the value. I think it's tough to really wrap your head around like what you are getting. I think the tiers are confusing. I just don't think they rolled it out in a real compelling way.
I also don't think whatever they are rolling out is getting me to either re-sign up or stay on. Mm-hmm. Like, where's my hot PSP games?
Yeah, I mean the games that they're putting in that premium tier, the most expensive one, for the classics, it's not been a lot of PS1 or PS2 games, and that's the big reason to go into the classic tier. So you're getting some PlayStation, like one PlayStation 3 game gets added one month, and a few others another month, and so we've gone like a couple months without anything from these really classic consoles, these retro consoles. So what's going on? Sony doesn't really have any answers to that, and it makes it feel like, well, if you're going to get any one of these, you're probably just going to get the middle tier if you want the pretty good lineup of modern games that do get added to that instant library of stuff that is basically their version of Game Pass without putting in day one games. Yeah. And that has helped them. So despite the decline in subscribers, Sony's network services revenue, which encompasses PlayStation Plus and advertising, but not game purchases or add-on content, actually increased by 10% from 106 billion yen to 116 billion yen, which represents its best performance to date for a quarter. So people are going to, the only way that works is if people are going to those higher tiers. Clearly, the average price that people are paying per month for a PlayStation Plus subscription has gone up. So it's worked, and now they can do the work of trying to get the people that are leaving or weren't convinced in the first place to come on by offering new stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point, though. Like, there is this feeling of, I don't want to say abandonment, but like there is this almost like expedited rush to like it becoming a drip feed situation where you're like, oh wow, this thing is barely old, and here we are saying like, where's the games? The sleight of hand was getting more subscription revenue per customer, right? Like you did that, but I don't know how that nets out. I mean, if you're really, I guess what you said about the summer being a bit of a low tide situation, maybe that explains and offsets some of it.
Some of the comparisons they do make, like the monthly active users, They were down from the last month, but they're also down year over year. So they're down like 1 million year over year, from 104 million to 103 million. So it's just, that's also from pandemic year to a year where most people are over treating it like it's a pandemic anymore. So, it's not exactly a one-to-one comparison, but you could see where this is going to be a longer-term problem for PlayStation. Mostly PlayStation Plus is an asset to them. It has made them a lot of money. It paves over a lot of other bumps where it's like, games are a hit-driven business. If you have a hit one quarter, you don't have a hit the next quarter. Well, those comparisons look really rough. But with PlayStation Plus just regularly churning in cash, that really helps them. It helps them stay profitable even when they launch a new console like the PlayStation 5, something that hasn't happened before. But if they're relying on that money now, and you can see till next year, we just talked about it, no new Call of Duty next year. And if you want to point to one thing that drives people to subscribe to PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, it is Call of Duty. It is being able to play that game multiplayer online is one of the key reasons to have those services. And it's like, okay, well, what if people fall off of this premium Call of Duty before next year and there's not a new one to replace it? And a lot of them, maybe they keep playing it, but they go play Warzone for free instead. And that doesn't require PlayStation Plus. Are we going to lose a lot of subscribers in the next year? You could see them maybe even trying to anticipating this, and that's one of the reasons for having these other tiers to entice people to get into PlayStation Plus without necessarily thinking about the online multiplayer. Well, that doesn't seem to have worked out, and now they're going to have to face 12 months from now being in a situation where they could see an even bigger decline year over year, and they might not have an answer for that.
Yeah. Also, the whole tier stuff, it's just very confusing. Yeah. I tried to Google PlayStation Plus games, and then I realized, wait, that's not gonna lead me to the list that I need. I feel like they should have just figured out a different name. Because then Game Pass, I realized, okay, these are the stuff available to Game Pass. But then you just Google PlayStation Plus games, and then you'll get their storefront that just has there's stuff that's reduced if you subscribe to PS Plus. Ugh.
Yes, it's not. I get confused too. Even because I'm like, wait, is this game classic or no? I guess it's a PlayStation 4 or 5 game, so that's only in the middle tier. So I wouldn't need the. It's like you have to do a lot of talking to yourself as you try to figure out what you're looking at.
I do too much of that.
Yeah. You don't want to try to avoid it where possible. All right, let's move on to Phil Spencer claims scrutiny of Xbox's Activision deal is fair and warranted. Just a couple of quotes here. He says, it might be surprising to people, but I'm not an expert on doing $70 billion deals. And this comes from that Wall Street Journal tech conference.
I'm a regular guy.
I'm just like any of you. Yeah. But I do know that we're very focused on getting approval in the major jurisdictions. And I'm spending a lot of time in Brussels, London, and with the FTC here in the United States. I would say the discussions have been very fair and honest. It is a big acquisition, there's no doubt, and Microsoft in its role in the tech industry is a large tech company, and I do think the discussion around the acquisition of this size is warranted, and I've appreciated the time that I got to go spend with these regulators, basically, which is very political, very politically prudent of him to say these things, right? Where it's like, I love the opportunity to have someone come and look at our financials and tell us what we can and can't buy.
They should be auditing this. They should be kicking the tires on this monopoly deal.
Yeah. And it's clearly this has been taking up a lot of his time. Him and very unlike the video game industry, where a lot of these comments have been made in the public and they've been doing the rounds, and not just him, but Jim Ryan also. And it's like, okay, they would only be doing that if this was the top of mind, the most important thing. And they think they need to have a battle in the press. And so it's like, this is, of course, this is taking up all this time. If this deal doesn't go through, it's like a lot of their plans get derailed. So I get it, but it's like, okay, but he's not wrong though. It is fair. Of course people should be looking into deals of this size. Yeah, of
course you do your due diligence, right? You have to vet a thing like this. I think the antitrust claims are going to get thrown out because I don't agree with them at all. But they are clearly taking it to. They are fighting it in a very public way, which I find to be interesting for sure.
And I think they think that is the more important realm because, and this is part of the story as well, according to a new report by Politico, Microsoft had a deadline of midnight on October 31st to submit commitments to the EU that would help ease any concerns it had about the deal. Sources familiar with the matter reportedly told Politico that Microsoft has failed to do this, thereby potentially triggering the second, more in-depth phase of the investigation.
Hey.
So Microsoft is not going to them hat in hand and saying, like, listen, hey, we're not going to do this. And if you want, we will agree right now to not do this with the thing that we're buying. It's like they're not making any commitments. They also did the very similar thing, I think, with the CMA. So they're just like, we're not even going to submit anything for these chances to commit to, caveats. Instead, we are just going to keep arguing in the public and hope that the sort of tenor of the conversation surrounds these regulators and makes them think, oh, this isn't such a big deal. And so they'll end up just siding with us anyway. And then if we have to, at the last minute, make caveats, we can still always do that. So
is the play there like almost like call our bluff sort of thing? Or is it
I know a little bit.
Or is it also a sort of way of like showing confidence?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Both. It feels like both, right? So it's like you show confidence that, hey, why would we have to do this? Even after we make this purchase, we're not going to be the biggest game company. Sony's still going to be bigger than us. What are you talking about? But also, it's I think it's trying to call the bluff of regulators, which are they're like, yeah, we really want to look into this, but they haven't had a lot of success looking into deals exactly like this. The ones that have been blown up recently. There, some mobile deals of one mobile carrier adopting or acquiring another mobile carrier was derailed a couple times. Eventually, that did go through. Nvidia trying to acquire ARM. It's like that deal was getting regulators looking into it, and then Nvidia called the deal off. It's like this isn't worth it. But that deal felt like it could have got knocked off by the regulators themselves had it gone through or had it continued. But so it's like, but for the most part, deals like this do get approved, and I think Microsoft's like, we can't see any reason when we really look at it on paper in a fair and objective way why this would happen. So why would we begin behaving in a way where we think this is going to get taken out until we say something or until we begin making our own concessions? So yeah, I think you're right that it's both. Mm-hmm. All right. Keep going with a little bit more of this Phil Spencer talk. He said a lot in this week. This one wasn't from that stage presentation. This was a podcast he did with iJustine on YouTube, where he said it's been too long since Xbox's last big first party game, which, yes, that's true.
Yes, he's right.
Yeah.
Here's another quote. One thing we've definitely heard loud and clear is it's been too long since we've shipped what people would say is a big first party game. We can't have our excuses. We can have our excuses with COVID and other things, but in the end, I know people invest in our platform and they want to have great games. It's like, yeah, that's also. It's nice to hear him saying that. He followed this up by saying, 2023 should be different. It's going to be different, and we're going to have big games. The kinds of games you're thinking of. Now we know Starfield and Redfall and Forza Motorsport. Those are definitely coming. It's like, well, we know about those. And so like, why didn't he just say those games are coming and those were the ones if there weren't also more coming on top of that? It's kind of how I feel. So 2023 needs to be the year where Xbox sort of changes the story around its first party games. And if it doesn't, I think it's a failure. And they need to like reconsider exactly what they've been investing in.
I think it's the last year for this.
Just wait till next year.
What's that?
And the mantra around the Xbox has been just wait until next year.
Right.
Next year is the last time they could say that, right?
Exactly. Where it's like, hey, if these, if there's nothing to harvest here after this, investment and all of these things that have gone in, it's like it's something else is going on. It's not working out. It really is wild, right? I feel like we've been talking how many years have we been talking about? Do you see what they bought? Do you see what they bought? Do you see what they bought? And
since 2018.
Yeah.
Weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, that'll be a full 5 years. Now, of course, some of those games were PlayStation exclusives due to previous contracts, but
Sure.
a lot of those studios have had a chance to reload and get to work on other stuff. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition next year. I would really like to see Hellblade 2 and a handful of others, maybe an Avowed. Perfect Dark's probably not going to make it. Avowed probably won't make it either. But it'd be nice. It'd be nice if there was like 4, 5, 6 really big games from Xbox all in Game Pass next year.
Six next year. Dang.
Seems like it's possible. It's on the table at least. We'll see.
All right.
All right, then the last couple here. Vampire Survivors is coming to Xbox this month, and it will be on Game Pass. The game was already on PC Game Pass. It just hit 1.0 recently. You could still get it in Game Pass, to access that, but now it's coming to console on November 10th, And at that point, it will be $5, but you can get it in Game Pass as part of your subscription. And that's very good. I'm glad more people are going to get a chance to play this excellent, excellent game.
Hell yeah.
How hard is it to get PC Game Pass working on a Steam Deck?
It's not the hardest thing in the world. It is just that you have to jump through a few hoops in desktop mode.
Okay.
At this point, it's a little bit easier, I think. I mean, you could stream it too, and just set up the Microsoft Edge browser to work in the gaming mode. There's ways to do it.
The way I've dealt with stuff like that is you just kind of wait 2 weeks and then someone figures it out in a real seamless way. And you're like, oh, okay, that's settled now. I don't have to worry about it.
That's what I do now with that type of stuff too. I'll go into YouTube, type it, and then I'll just put upload date of like, okay, this guy figured it out in 2 minutes.
Yep, got it.
Shouts out.
And then Sega is reportedly asking players what its next
Game Gear.
mini console should be. So I got one of those Sega Genesis Mini 2s. Mine just came last night. I'll be doing some stuff with that soon. We have a TikTok going up soon as well. But apparently on the box, there is like a QR code that will take you to a survey where they're asking, hey, what should we make next as one of these mini consoles? And they have a bunch of options. The SG-1000, the SG-3000, which are like the pre... Master System Sega things, which, basically like Ataris. Then there's Master System, Saturn, or then, they've already done Mega Drive, so Genesis is not an option, and Mega Drive not an option. So then Saturn, Dreamcast, Game Gear, or Arcade, or a third Mega Drive Mini is actually on the list. So, wow, please don't do that.
Why isn't CD there?
Well, because that's what's in so Mega Drive 2, that's one of the things it has, is about 10 Sega CD games on it.
Oh.
It doesn't have Willy Beamish. That's kind of a failure.
What's it got? Sewer Shark?
It does have Sewer Shark. Do you have any other guesses? Yeah.
What's that?
It's got. Do you have any other guesses? Because it's got Night Trap.
I was gonna say Night Trap, and then Sonic CD.
Yes, I think Sonic CD is on there. It has Final Fight, like CD, the arcade version. That's
what was
pretty cool.
special about that?
It was an arcade faithful port.
Like
probably had better
fidelity.
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually what happens with a lot of those other ones. It's like, oh, and now we have a CD quality audio, and it's the same game.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
God.
No police knots. No police knots. That would have been awesome.
Stop saying
There was
CD.
a racing
I'm
game.
tempted. I'm tempted to yell it every time y'all say CD.
I was wondering why you were squirming. Jesus Christ, Jan, you need help. You need help.
I do.
There he goes. There's Chaim. There we go. He's yelling it in chat, everybody, in case you're wondering.
I felt it.
The answer here is
everyone's moved
Dreamcast.
on. Everyone's doing is like Ligma now.
Yeah.
There was one of those earlier, and I didn't do it.
And then someone said to me the other day, you got Mind Goblin.
Mm-hmm. And then Sega, so Segag on these nuts.
Oh, that's a stretch.
All right,
the Dreamcast.
Is it Wells Fargo or okay?
Yeah. Do Dreamcast.
Yeah, give me a little fishing controller too.
Yep. That would be fantastic. With my Sega Genesis Mini 2, I did get the Cyber Stick, which is a flight stick. It just works. I think maybe just with Afterburner 2 on there, but it's USB, so I can plug it in the PC and I'll play some real games with this thing.
That's nice.
I never had. Why would you get a flight stick with like your Super Nintendo or Genesis back in the 90s? Unless you were some rich kid and then do whatever you got to do. But it's like now that I'm older, yeah, sure, I'll make this poor financial decision acquiring this. I pre-ordered it from Amazon Japan, forgot about it, and then I saw a huge charge on my car. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, wait a second. I went through the memory banks. Like, oh yeah, at the time, Jeff, you were super excited about it, and then it showed up. And
comparatively, now Jeff Grubb, you are the rich kid compared to who you were back then.
Exactly.
And
absolutely.
That's the problem.
Yes, that is the problem. Absolutely. Also, Kojima, he scanned someone else. Shioli Kutsuna. I can't say it. I can't say her name. I'm sorry. She's going to be in one of his games coming up as soon as well. Good for him. Capturing yet another celebrity in his celebrity soul prison.
It's funny whenever he announces new people. I'm convinced, like you said, like he has somehow permanently digitized them. Like he has taken their soul and just they're a computer now. They are ones and zeros. No longer.
The paperwork looks like I can do whatever with your digital body that I want. I own it now.
Yo.
Like,
Has he ever talked about whether or not he likes James Cameron's Avatar? Because I think he's pulling an Avatar.
Yeah. Yeah, he's making avatars of people. I don't know if he's ever talked about it. I bet he does, though.
He's just collecting.
I bet he does.
He's collecting celebrities.
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely
Another
collecting celebrities.
stone for the gauntlet.
Yeah.
You know, like, cool, man.
He has the
Absolutely.
oddest collection of celebrities that he's
Yeah.
scanned.
Norman Reedus still not sure where he is.
It's just whatever TV show he's been watching. That's all it is. It's just like, I watch a TV show and I'm going to get that celebrity. I'm going to scan him.
Scan Ted Danson, Hideo Kojima, because you got really into Becker.
he got into Becker?
He should.
Oh, okay.
Do you think? Do you think he bought that life-size Paddington doll because he wanted to scan Paddington?
Yeah, definitely. I hope he gets into I can't remember, what's the show? Niles and Frasier. Frasier. It's just called Frasier. Yeah, get into Frasier and give us Niles and Frasier forever and ever. That's what I need.
Yeah. Oh, Kojima got really into Frasier. Did you hear? Isn't that weird?
Kojima really into Frasier is a very funny just sentence to say.
Yeah.
I would like that a lot. Jan, I have no more news, and I kind of need you to take this show over once again. We got to get away from all these Segagans and Ligmas, these
Bofas.
CDs,
These mind
and
goblins.
Bofas.
Fupas, D's. Well, we'll say them loudly into microphones, and they won't be recorded as we fade to black to take another quick break. And then after that break, we'll come back. We'll read some emails, perhaps some questions from the live chat.
I gotta go wipe a butt.
Tell us about times you've had to wipe a butt. Send a quick email to bombcast@giantbomb.com, and then Jeff Bakalar, Jeff Grubb, and myself will be back to answer those questions. We'll see you in a bit. Bye. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. This ever happened to you where you're going good and you're coasting, but then there's an unexpected speed bump or detour, and out of nowhere you start feeling lost or just plain old stuck? With help from a therapist, you can figure out and contextualize what's going on and get you unstuck. BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists, and it is all online, baby. We got to get rid of the stigma of seeking out help, specifically with therapy. Therapy can really help you understand yourself and how you tackle problems in situations in the best way that'll work for you. Also, it is just a great place to vent and get all those feelings off of your chest. Don't hold them in. Get it out, y'all. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/bombcast. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bombcast. Thanks, BetterHelp. Go deeper into the canals of Numenor, the mines of Khazad-dûm, and more with the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast. Join host Felicia Day and several special guests as they provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series in just what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. Each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with both series showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. Listen as they provide the first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia Day also goes behind the scenes with the cast and the crew to share stories and other Easter eggs that you won't want to miss. Watch The Rings of Power on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app now. Welcome back, everybody, to the Giant Bombcast. Jeff Grubb, how everything was wiped away? Everything was fine?
Everything got wiped away. We're all good. She did a great job getting over there on the potty herself without me even knowing. And then she just let me know when I was required to come and assist, and it all worked out. And then at the same time, I picked up my cyber stick.
Oh, look at this joint.
Whoa.
I just like yelling cyber
there?
stick. It was right there.
What was it doing there?
In the
It was
bathroom?
in the bathroom. Yeah, you know, you got to do something when you're pooping. If you forget Marvel Snap, you gotta Yay! Pew 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 pew. You just pretend you're dropping bombs and you're firing your lasers. You know, dropping bombs and whatever.
We got it.
There it is. It's a big boy. I like it.
It's a big
USB,
lad.
like I said, I'm gonna plug in the computer. I hope it recognizes it. We'll see what happens. Cyberstick.
Cyberstick, just like cybering and electronic mails that we receive at Bombcast at
Just like
giantbomb.com.
that.
These are the emails for the show. Bombcast at giantbomb.com.
I set it down and she immediately came over to get it.
This is like, nope, it's mine now, Pops.
Yeah, she looked at me like that too. She's like, whoop. All right then.
Bombcast at giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. A little light this week, so I'll take some questions from the Giant Bomb Discord as well. If you're watching live, you can use the Ask a Question feature at the tippity-toppity of the chat page. If you're watching on Twitch, I don't know how to ask a question. I don't know, just add us or whatever. Shoot.
Yeah, add us.
Yeah, that works.
This first email comes from someone, didn't leave their name, but this is for you, Grubb. I've heard you mention the ADHD thing quite a bit over the past couple of Bombcasts. And I was wondering how you, as someone who plays games as an aspect of your job, handle the whole binge to burnout cycle of a game you really enjoy.
I mean, it's really nice of you to assume that I handle it in any way. I just deal with it. Like it's, I mean, a big part of it right now is I'm busy. I have a lot of stuff going on in my life with the kids and trying to make sure that they're, getting to all their things and, then doing the job. And so it gets to points where it's hard to find that chunk of time that I would like to have to even begin that binge to burnout cycle. But I am thinking about the way I play games is I'm going to start binging. So I need a lot of time. And then if I don't have that time, I don't play at all. That's my problem these days. But when it does happen, usually this has been my answer. You probably heard me say this a lot. You just forgive yourself. You give yourself permission. It's okay if you engage. If that's the way you engage with stuff, don't be like, well, I'm doing it wrong. You're not doing it wrong. If you play a game and you burn out on it and you never pick it up again, it's not like your time with that game doesn't count. Of course, it still counts. Right. And you had that experience, and that's what matters. And you can move on. And don't guilt yourself. That's the key.
Yeah, I think a lot of this also comes from just comparisons. And comparison is the thief of joy, y'all. Where you kind of set your own rules based off of these social constructs. And yo, dog, if you ain't clicking with something, I know that Marvel Snap is forgive me, Jess, for putting words in your mouth. Marvel Snap's probably not a Jess game. She does not need to check it out, and she should not be held back for that. Much like how Silent Hill is probably not a Rory game, I'm going to assume. Mm-hmm. You don't have to hold yourself strictly to that. You make up your own rules, dog. The part where it does kick in, though, where it starts to get a little bit tense and stressful, I understand is the financial aspect of, I spent this much money on a game, I gotta play this game, and then bouncing off of it does feel a little bit like a tough pill to swallow.
I learned about comparison is the thief of joy from TikTok. Is that where you learned it?
No, I learned it from my old boss that was a motivational speaker, and
that sounds right too.
You learned it from TikTok. I don't understand.
I heard it's the first time I ever heard that saying was on TikTok. Someone said that because the guy's he was lifting a lot of weights, and she's like, that's impressive. And he's like, well, it's not that much. And she's like, no, don't be that way. Comparison is the thief of joy. What you're lifting is a lot, no matter what. And I'm like, oh man, that was really nice. Really kind.
Thief of joy.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to hear another one that I learned from my old boss?
Yep.
Yo, it's okay to fail because fail really means to find answers in losing.
Hell yes. That rules.
That sucks because
that rules.
There's nothing clever about that.
Anytime you turn a common word into an acronym, you're onto something because people are gonna every time I think of fail now, I'm gonna think about that. It's an earworm of motivational speaking. I like it.
It still doesn't get a pass from me. I think the thief of joy, right, is just a very eloquent way of summarizing the fallacies of comparison in an easy to digest sort of manner, where you're like, cool, I get it.
All right.
You're
all
right, but you're also comparing and you're thieving joy right before our very eyes.
Wow.
Yes.
Right before our-
Look, that is what I do.
I agree, though.
steal,
You're right. It doesn't
okay?
compare to. It doesn't compare
You
to.
steal, you deem
comparisons to thief of
importance.
joy.
Okay.
Almost nothing's important. Okay. go
How
ahead.
do you feel about the flip on the phrase? Instead of to kill two birds with one stone, it's to feed two birds with one seed.
No. No. Look.
They would just fight to the death. They're birds. They hate. That's all they do.
I actually do enjoy birds, so I'd rather not see two of them.
Yeah,
dead.
but you love hateful things. So it's that fits.
you know
I
what?
just
Hold
have
on.
cute aggression.
Always Be Clothing has the better version of that. Feed two birds with one scone.
Scone? Oh, that's real good. That's when people. That's like one of those where like people say they mispronounce idioms where they're just like, for all intensive purposes. It's like what that's like one of those where
Yeah,
people just
there's a word for
mispronounce
that.
the
I
whole
can't.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like birds. Let's feed all the birds. Feed the birds. Okay, feed the birds.
Feed the
cats.
Well, actually, don't feed the birds. Be careful where you feed the birds.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna walk that back. Feed them nowhere near my house. I gotta tell you something. This time of year, every year, there is like some sort of migration of these blacker than hell birds. These birds are the color of like infinite space. They're like they make ravens look pale. They're like
Jesus.
Metal as hell.
they are metal as hell, and they flock and they come. They hang out on my lawn for about 20 minutes a day. And when I say like, I got pictures. I'll show you pictures.
Just
You
drinking
can't
all
see
day.
the grass. You can't see the grass.
That's
They're
sick.
and they're loud as fuck. And then like something spooks them, and 4,000 of them just tear ass out of here. It is frightening for sure.
What's the size of these birds? Are they like raven sized or like
No.
pigeons?
Yeah, they're smaller than pigeon. I'd put them at like, I don't know, just like you're smaller than pigeons are beefy boys. You
Yes,
know, like
they're
beefy.
fat little bastards.
These are much smaller, like a cardinal size, maybe something like
Yeah,
that.
these got to be starlings, right? These are the invasive birds that someone brought over. Do you guys know the story about this? And this could be apocryphal, but the story apparently is that someone read about starlings in a Shakespeare play and was like, well, we don't have any starlings here in North America, and clearly that's a failing of our continent. We need to have all the birds that are mentioned in Shakespeare. And so they brought starlings here, and there was no natural predator to starlings, and they began reproducing like crazy. Because I, Bakalar, also have seen these swarms of these birds. There was about probably like 4,000 in the trees behind my house the other day, and it's like frightening.
There's so many of them. You can hear them they like make their way through the neighborhood. They like chill out on a tree. They all perch or whatever, and then they go
Theater kids
down.
destroying the ecosystem. Sorry, that was very...
What's that?
Blatant safe scum in chat says theater kids destroying the ecosystem.
If it was gonna be anyone,
You have an impact. Not
Yeah,
the one
right.
you're looking for, but you have an impact.
looking at you, Bun Yellow.
Right? See what you did, Bonniello? You brought these fucking birds to my lawn. It's wild. It really is wild. Yeah, I was pumped. I wasn't pumped, but I thought it was cool where you guys got to see that bug in Brooklyn that I keep talking about. Did you see it?
I didn't see any of that bug.
I did see it. I saw it. Yeah.
Oh, you saw it? Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, they're beefy boys too. A lot of weird, invasive, beefy boys coming in. You know.
All right, next email comes from Braden in Ottawa, Canada. Hi, Bombcast. I've been playing video games since I was a kid in the early 90s, and JRPGs have always been a huge blind spot in my gaming life. I have a PS5 and a Switch. On those systems, what would you recommend as a starting point for JRPGs? Any titles, series you recommend I check out? Thanks. And you are all amazing. Love you all. Braden in Ottawa, Canada. The go-to answer is, of course, people saying Final Fantasy. I'd circumvent that immediately. Go check out Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I was gonna say even like okay, so don't start it like people are saying Dragon Quest 1. Don't do that.
No,
just
no.
play Dragon Quest the new one, 11, right?
Yeah.
Dragon Quest 11. You play that on your Switch. That's gonna be your key, right? Because even I started that game because it was on Game Pass, and then as someone who doesn't like JRPGs, accidentally played like 15 hours of that game and really enjoyed myself. So it's like if I'm doing that, I think that's the way to get in.
Yeah. It's also like a good gateway because systems have been modernized enough that you're not going to have to deal with too much of like the grindy aspect or like no fast traveling that existed in JRPGs in the past.
And it's gorgeous. It looks so good.
Yes. I mean, pull a Jess also. Do a playthrough Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger. Yeah.
Held up amazingly. Live Alive is great. I need to fucking check back on Live Alive. Shit. Yeah, Dragon Quest for sure. If Michael Heim was on the podcast, he'd be spouting off a bunch of JRPGs you could check out now. Maybe Yakuza Like a Dragon, actually. That is also good, like a little taste.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Of a JRPG. Yeah. I will never stop singing the praise of 13 Sentinels. I wouldn't quite say it's like a JRPG. It's more of like a visual novel and a strategy game. But again, you can get your little tippity tastes over there and get a little free sample. Checking that out. Any other recs, y'all?
That's a big regret of mine, never playing 13 Sentinels.
I'm not gonna say the time has passed, but like,
wow.
And now you just play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 instead.
Yeah, man, that's like a deep ass JRPG to get into for one of your first.
You're just.
All right, well, Chaim suggests Final Fantasy 14 instead, so maybe you can just play that.
It's kind of all right. Check out the link shell. Cheap plug for the boy. All right, that's it for the emails. Now a couple lightning round questions from the Giant Bomb audience. This one comes from Natzel. Psychobabble and theories aside, do you believe in beliefs, behaviors, paradigms of the youngest, middle, oldest child dynamic? So I'm assuming what they're asking is like, older brother, older sisters generally like this, younger brother, always a piece of poop, et cetera, et cetera.
I think there's like some things that happen that are just sort of natural, like pecking order, like nature being nature sort of thing. Like one where, they say older siblings care way more about fairness in like, things that don't need to necessarily be fair. Like just, we're playing a board game, and the older sibling will care way more about the rules than the younger sibling and sticking to the rules and stuff like that. And that's stuff that you probably grow out of. But it's like, I could see that. Like you were like this, like in order to maintain what you view as order in your life, as this little thing comes in your life and destroys all the order that you once had, you're like, well, we have to have rules. Like we have to take turns. I have to have my turn. Then you have your. I could see that like making some sense. I think it's probably much too. People are too messy and too complicated for any one thing to always apply, though.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's certain nuances that are probably consistent, but I think it's mostly surface level for sure.
Yeah, I can't answer this because I'm an only child, so it's just loneliness and imaginary friends. Next question comes from Steely Dan. Did you guys see the video of that NASCAR driver who did the video game thing of riding the wall instead of braking to take the turn faster? What other weird video game physics tricks do you wish worked in real life?
I mean, double jumping. I mean, come on. If I could double jump, my life would be so different.
Yeah,
it would be, but double jumping, like double jumping,
the world isn't made for it. The world is not built for double jumping.
It's not, but also don't forget, most of us can only jump like 5 inches. So like all you're really getting is barely a foot. So it's like, okay, you can now.
Yeah, but if I could double jump, I would work on my vertical a lot. And yeah, it'd be very good. Man, you'd probably hurt yourself though, right? Yes. You don't have to,
because you fall.
You would probably miss every once in a while, and fall damage is still a thing. So.
Oh, dude, think about like the ankle brace and knee brace industry. Just skyrocketing.
Oh, they should add a tuck and roll every time.
They should add a second hoop to basketball if we could all double jump.
Yeah. That'd be all right.
That's 4 points there. I guess this is kind of reality now with the evolution of electronic skateboards. But in Tony Hawk, I always found it was so funny. You never kicked and pushed in that game. You just held down X and you just hunched down and you just zooming by. But I guess that's like with boosted boards and like the one wheel one now, you just lean and that's reality.
You ever rock a boosted board?
Terrifying.
It's scary, dude.
I thought about it.
They go too fast.
Yeah.
I got freaking nice statted, and I thought about getting a boosted board. And I was like, okay, all right, use this on my commute to work. And then the pandemic happened, and now I don't have a commute to work. I just walk around the corner. Here we are.
There was a dad that would drop his kids off at the school and went back in Colorado, and he would never wear shoes, and he rode one of those one-wheeled electric skateboards. I'm like, man, listen, man, you do you, but then I would start wondering, maybe I should get one of those things. If I were to get one of those kinds of things, chat, what should I get? Give me
You should just get an e-bike. Just get an e-bike.
You're right.
Those
You're
are
right.
amazing. E-bikes
So much
are
safer.
amazing.
You are so right. I should just get an e-bike.
You guys can like if you get the one where like the kids can sit in the back, you guys can just hit up the farmers market. I'm making a lot of assumptions on your life, Jeff Grubb, that you go, if you go to farmers markets or whatever.
I've been to a farmer's market. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Within the last 10 years. Yes, of course I have.
E-bikes are the cool thing about an e-bike is like you can also get the exercise out of it.
That's
like
true.
It doesn't have to just be push the pedal and go. Like
yeah, but then you get the
use
fun thing of being the fat guy on the e-bike going way faster than the really healthy guy on the regular bike. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, ruining your life right
They're
now.
in their
You could
skin tight
be
bike
pedaling.
suits.
And I'm in a hoodie and cargo shorts.
Hell
and
yeah.
what are your
jellies.
sandals called? What are your
Jellies.
sandals called, Jan?
Crocs.
Yeah.
Birkenstocks.
Yeah, the Birkenstocks. Even though and I'm just gonna fly past the healthy guy. Hell yeah. Yeah, take that, Drew Scanlon. That's right.
You have you all seen like that e-bike? It's like it looks like a moto bike almost, like Super 73, I think. Man, those look
I've
so
seen those.
cool. Those look so
are
cool.
dope.
God.
I have an Aventon, something like that. It's similar
it's venti.
to
It's like 20 ounces.
Yeah, it's
20 ounces, you know.
It's the medium. No, and it's like such a game changer. I just right around now is when I probably use it the most, just because summer's too hot and now is like the perfect time for me to be outside, and it's great. I go real far with that thing. You know, I'm 10 miles from home. Okay, great. You know, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh man, they have like a bunch of the rentable e-bikes in the city, and then my partner and I just kind of go on strolls on the weekend sometimes. It's fun.
It's nice.
Especially in San Francisco, that's so hilly, and then we're just attacking a hill going uphill. We feel like idiots. Like, oh my God, we're going here. Next question from my homie Cam. He asks, what game would be the most improved with an all-ska soundtrack?
The Legend
Crash
of Zelda, Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just trying to imagine that. It's pretty stupid.
That is so dumb. But I love it.
Halo, the Halo theme, and with all ska. Turok is a good one, chat. I like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Death Stranding.
Yeah,
Sure,
I would like that.
If Elden Ring was nothing but ska that entire time.
Oh my God. Can you imagine Norman Reedus falling down a hill because the pack is too heavy and it's just ska blasting? All right, Jess, I have a TikTok idea.
Where's the ska DLC for Metal Hellsinger?
Can't
That's
you
a
put
good
in
one.
your own tracks in that?
I think there was like a jazz.
There was like
pack.
a jazz pack. Yeah, I don't know if it has to be if it has to be official or if you could just do your own. So you could just like, hey, play this YouTube video in this game. Then let's do it.
Propaganda Panda in the chat has the best, I think, empirically best answer, because I think Super Mario games are inherently just ska games. Like they have ska energy in a big way, especially when you get the checkerboard areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that would really gel in a seamless way.
The Super Mario Brothers 3 like opening like with the checkerboard floor
Yes.
and the thing.
yeah.
It feels like a ska show was about to
like,
start.
if that was just the toasters, you'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this makes sense. You know.
All right, a couple quick hits now before we end the show from the Discord. Pally Killer asks, the big four U.S. sports, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, get culled down to one. Which sport remains and why? Football. Begrudgingly, I'd say football.
What is the? I don't understand. Like, how did we get here?
There's not enough time anymore. All the money is being pumped into one.
It's got to be football, right?
I think it's
if
football.
all the
Americans are
sports
freakish
fought,
about football.
which one would win and why?
Say that again.
If all the sports fought, which one would win and why?
Football.
I don't know. I think hockey's got the most weapons.
Yeah, but then you can't wear the skates on like a concrete.
Yeah, you can throw them though. Or you could wait. You could attack in the winter. In the winter, and then wait for the streets to be paved with ice. Yeah, it's probably. I'm trying. Like, which one has the most? Baseball has probably the most players. Maybe no. Yeah, maybe no.
Yeah, but like, are they all athletes?
That's true. That's a good point.
A lot of them can't run.
Real slow.
A lot of them can't run.
Yeah.
And you just have like a couple linebackers just run full speed.
Swinging a bat is easier than swinging a hockey stick, says Mike Minotti. But in combat sports, you want that length. So all you got to do is just sharpen that hockey stick down to a sharp point, and it's acts as a spear. The best if you'd have any hand-to-hand weapon that's not not a gun, a spear is your best bet for survival. So I give that to hockey still, but.
Football players are the scariest humans, though, for sure.
Yeah, there's some like real 350-pound bad boys up there. Yeah, and there's also like quarterbacks that like are used to being generals.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I love basketball.
That's why Americans love football, because it's like war.
It's war. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just legalized war, and it's a concussion simulator, a car crash recreator. Like that's what it is. So I get it.
So football.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd say football. All right. Nope, not going to read that. Chuck-towski, I'm meeting my company's CEO on Thursday. Can you provide some meeting power moves to physically dominate the space and intimidate this millionaire? Finger guns. Like, hey, just catch them off guard. You be the person to initiate the handshake first, and then I'll catch them off guard. That's the power move.
Ask them for money right away.
All right. What about that raise, huh?
Yeah. Hey, last time I saw you, you said you'd give me a raise. What's up? Just say things that didn't happen and act very confidently that they did happen. Also, look up Google. I'm not going to do it for you, but Google all of the things you're supposed to do when you encounter a bear and do all of them exactly as they're written. Yep. Don't change anything because you're dealing with a human. Make yourself big pots and pans.
Throw things at him.
Do a nice
I hate when my own stupid jokes make me laugh. Oh man, that's stupid.
You gotta love when you pop yourself. You gotta love when you pop yourself.
Oh yeah, dude.
You just double up on the finger guns thing and the bear tactic, right? As you're walking up to meet them, do like a quick little spin and then finger guns of like, hey, so and so.
Yeah, just go in there, take up as much space as possible. Be loud.
Yeah.
Make sure you sit down before. Don't even look at them. Just sit down before they do. Yeah, you're gonna be fine. I believe in you, Chuck-towski.
We believe in you. Don't hold us accountable if something bad happens, though.
That's right. This is not actionable advice. This is not an advice podcast.
Flaboda, what's your favorite weather food beverage for the cold season?
I like a hot toddy. You ever have one of those?
Yeah, sure. I like
those
that.
Are good.
Yeah.
I like having the mulled wine or the hot and spicy apple cider that's like spiked with alcohol. Sure, yeah,
real good.
Do that.
Okay, yeah. Hot alcohol. El Palo Loco, I'm taking recommendations on where to eat in Vegas in 2 weeks. We already have reservations to Best Friends, and we'll likely hit up Lotus of Siam. Also planning to hit up Meow Wolf on a rest day. Any other bangers?
Yes, I'll look it up. So there's a steakhouse.
Oh, are we talking Golden Steer? The old one? Okay.
So we got tipped off one year by like a couple people, and then we started asking around, and everyone was like, go to this steakhouse. Everyone who's local in Vegas.
It's called the Texas Roadhouse.
Goes
Chili's.
to Outback. No, it's called The Steakhouse, and it's at Circus.
What?
Yes.
All right.
At Circus?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
A place no one would ever suspect. You walk into that place. Okay, I know. Everyone's like, excuse me?
Does a clown serve you a steak or something?
Yep. You walk into Circus, and you're just like, what the fuck kind of carnival ass budget casino did I fucking walk into?
And the answer is Circus. I mean, it just is the poster boy for that, but yeah, go on.
It's basically like that scene in Vegas Vacation where Clark Griswold tries to win back all his money playing war and like rock, paper, scissors.
And guess a number.
Like, you know, when you walk around like a fancy hotel and they've got like jewelry stores and like all these high end fashion around Circus, it's like all the Cracker Jack box shit that you find. Like, it's carnival ass bullshit everywhere you go. You make your way through all that, and then you finally find this place called The Steakhouse.
Oh, man.
And it was one of the best steaks I've ever had. Straight up. Like, I don't like, and the restaurant is it plays the part. Like it feels like that. It's not like a tray based steakhouse where you like, you know, it knows what it is. It just happens to be at Circus. I got it. That's the truth. Like, I've gone the last 2 years I was at CES, I went, and it was magnificent. I'm not
the word out.
you.
It's gonna be overrun because I mean, now everyone knows about Lotus of Siam, and I remember getting tipped off about that from Will Smith like forever ago.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do this. I'm happy to ruin something in Vegas because that's what I'm here for.
Yo, they have the oddest hours for a restaurant in Las Vegas. Those hours being 4 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's weird.
Whoa, weird.
See, but that tells you something. We only serve for 5 hours. Okay, that's it. Get your ass in. Get your
You're
ass
right.
out.
It says you come to us. We're not going to be here for you.
I'm bending over backwards for you.
Oh man, yeah. You gotta hit up one buffet while you're in Vegas. Go to the Bakalar.
Sure, absolutely.
Get some crab legs.
Do you the crab legs? Just a heads up.
I know
you're
that they're
rolling
not
the
fresh.
dice.
I know they're not
You're
fresh.
rolling the dice.
But
You know?
Fresh from the ocean of Las Vegas. The sea right there.
if you want to get an obscene amount of crab, that's the only way to get it, dog.
Yeah. I mean, look. The meat ain't exactly local either. I'm just saying.
Oh no.
Go to I think it's called Cheesecake Factory. Try that out. See if that works.
Blue
for you.
Bomb in chat also talked about secret pizza at the
Not
Cosmo.
Not anymore, man.
I mean, I never thought it was that good.
Well,
I do like Milosh at Cosmo, which is a Greek place. That's pretty good.
Oh God, where did I ate too much when I was in Vegas last time. It was an obscene. Time.
When are we gonna go to Vegas? We should do something fun in Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
Let's go to Vegas.
I don't think I can be in a casino with Jan. Like,
Hey,
I just got.
Yeah.
I mean, as his sponsor, I think you have to be there for him. I mean,
The sponsor isn't supposed to like hand them their ATM card. I just don't. Yes, I do want to do that, but also no, I don't want to do that.
Oh my God.
That means yes. Let's go.
Please, let's go. Let's do it. All right. Just one or two quick ones before we leave now. How do y'all get rid of a box of full-size candy bars other than consuming the entire box in one sitting?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah.
I think they went to
eat 'em.
Costco and were feeling generous for Halloween. Wanted to get some full-size candy bars. Trick-or-treaters didn't stop by.
I almost did that. I was at Meijer, and they had a whole thing there where it's like, here's just a whole stand of a bunch of full-size candy bars, and here's a box. We'll make it easier for you to carry them all out, so you can just pick them all one at a time. And I've done that before. I ordered them online. I was about to do it. I'm like, you know what? A new place. I don't know how many trick-or-treaters are going to come. And instead, I got a bunch of Pokemon cards from the Dollar General, and that worked out way better.
Yeah.
So,
Lovely.
you're going to have to, if you have a place you go for your work, you just go put them on the break room table, right? You just go put them in the break room.
Oh,
And they're going to be gone by the end of the day.
My favorite thing was when Ben and I still did the cooking show or the cooking segment on UPF, we would leave whatever monstrosity we made in the break room, and the lovely homies at GameSpot turned into the little goblins and ate the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Like
It was great.
That's
the
fantastic.
best. That's what I miss about being in an office. Is just like the random food you would just bump into. You'd be like, "What? Someone's got a whole bunch of barbecue here? What's that? Huh? All these tacos? Okay." That's how you get rid of food. You just leave it in that alley.
Leave it for the office
vultures
goblins.
come.
Office goblins, yeah.
Vultures
God, so one time someone sent a whole smoked turkey,
Sure.
and then the office just smelled like smoked turkey for like 2 days.
Could be worse.
Fuck, I'm so excited for Thanksgiving.
I am
Fuck,
so ready
excited.
for Thanksgiving.
I'm so ready.
All right, everybody, that does it for emails. You can send some emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. That is the email address to send them to. Please send some emails in. I'm tired of wading through a bunch of spam and people wanting to do odd things with the website and partnerships that would never happen. But you know what we got this week that is going to happen? A bunch of programming. Game S Mornings popping off for the rest of the week. A bunch of stuff popping off on Wednesday. A bunch of quick looks being recorded. Voicemail dump truck on Thursdays. UPF is being moved up, or I guess back? No, up an hour to accommodate for some Extra Life shenanigans. Extra Life is starting this weekend, y'all. I will be locked in an office for 24 hours with Matthew Rory. Tam, Lucy, John Luke are going to stop by. A lot of GameSpot homies will pop by. Dan, I believe, will also taking a night shift before we get going in person. Oh boy. Yeah. Also,
that Monday morning, I'll be going until Game S morning. So if you want to help me out on the overnight shift, everybody, that day, please.
Yes.
Please help.
And also, today might be Tuesday. Thursday might be Thursday. But Thursday, we will have the second installment, at least the Giant Bomb second installment of Friday Night Forkin', everybody. Thanks for popping on and hitting up the windbag. That's right. Fork me, daddy.
Fork me, daddy, windbag.
Boy, nothing bad can happen. You know,
right.
You just need some little bit of narrative continuity, and you're good.
Just a sprinkle of it.
She decorated a rock with the fandom stickers real quick. Just there you go.
Hey, look at that. It's the fandom rock.
Yeah, the fandom
I think
rock.
you just made the new mascot. Of this
Yes,
program.
the fandom rock.
Fandom.
Well, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's proud of herself. Good job.
Yeah, kid. There we go.
Nothing bad can happen. She gets it.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to understand how the Windbag's brain works. The Windbag also
don't wanna
streaming Monday through Wednesday if you want to catch him and catch some of that
Twitch.
hot Twitch.
The underscore windbag, right?
The underscore windbag, yes.
Okay.
I hope we are treated to another song that bombards Mike Minotti out of nowhere. That was fantastic.
Yeah, he plays it on his
Hasn't even
stream
got
now whenever he needs a break or a mental reset. So,
God, it's just
yeah, that's a lot of people watch that
yeah.
song. It's good stuff.
It's really great. I don't know. It's the beauty of the internet, and to know that the dude was doing all of that work for like an audience of 20 to 50 folks, just hitting them up. Amazing.
Yep.
Great. It's
Yeah,
great.
let's make our audience his audience now. I'm super
Yeah.
proud of that.
Exactly.
Stuff. That's the kind of stuff that makes me like, okay, we're on to stuff here.
Yeah, I do not care that the Windbag may never talk about a video game. That is completely fine with me. And I think that just about does it, folks.
I want to make a request. I want to make it public so Bakalar kind of has to say yes. Can we get Tom Monda to do a Christmas version of the Bombcast intro theme song?
Ooh,
Sure,
okay.
we can
I mean, it's
ask
pretty
him.
much he's just like
Add a
Tom,
jingle.
just do some jingle bells. That's all you gotta do.
We
Yeah.
could definitely ask him to do that. Sure.
All right. Awesome. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, folks, I'm Jan Ochoa. He's Jeff Grubb. He's Jeff Bakalar. Jess O'Brien was here earlier. Thanks for joining us for the Giant Bombcast. We'll be back next week, everybody, for another episode. Until then, stay cool. Decorate your rocks with fandom stickers. R.I.P. Mr. Nase. R.I.P. Takeoff. Gone too soon. Oh, there we go.
The Giant Bombcast is hosted and live produced by Jan Ochoa, with support from Jeff Grubb, Dan Reichert, Jess O'Brien, Lucy James, Timur Hussein, Jason A. Stryker, Matthew Rory, and me, Jeff Bakalar. Our theme music is provided by Tom Monda. Our logo is designed by Dave Schopenek, and you can find him online with the handle @DaveSavedTheDay. Justin Vachon is our sweet little art boy. And thank you so much for listening. Of course, a kiss on the cheek to you at home.
Mwah.